Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Last Panel. My name is Bob, and tonight we're going to have a fun one for you as we're going to be ranking our 5 favorite film franchises. And I want to put a disclaimer out here before we start this. There's actually only one list on this panel that is going to be the correct list, and that is going to be mine. The rest of them are going to be completely off the wall. But we're going to have a good time. I'm actually looking forward to talking with everybody about this. But I want to go ahead and introduce the usual cast of characters. Gray, how are you doing tonight, my friend?
Hey, I'm excited to talk about what could be a controversial list, to everyone's surprise. But yeah, man, I'm having a good time. I really, it was a little bit harder than I thought to come up with a list of 5 for this one. So excited to talk about it, man.
When isn't one of your lists controversial, Gray?
Well, I like to add that little drop of controversy in there. So rarely, but every once in a while, a list gets away from me.
All right. And below Gray, we got Warren. How are you doing tonight, Warren?
I am doing wonderful. Yeah, this was actually kind of difficult to put together. I was trying to figure out if I wanted to go off of like just personal or overall structure and like success of the franchises. I went with personal. And yeah, it was. I'm excited to get my choices out there.
See, I was kind of like you, Warren. I went personal as opposed to performance because if we're talking performance and what those franchises meant to movies or to the movie industry as a whole, you could definitely make an argument for certain others that I know didn't make my list. But
yeah.
But at the same time, I got my personal favorites. That those are the ones I rewatch more than any of the others. So it's like I couldn't not put those up there. So, and then we got Lapsed. How are you doing tonight, Lapsed?
Good. I am good.
A man of many words there.
I did the same thing. I went off of my favorite ones.
Well, good deal. Hey, I don't think we're going wrong if we're going off of our favorites, because at the end of the day, that they're our favorites for a reason, and that's why they made those lists. And like I said, those are the ones that either we rewatch the most or they had the most impact on us. So
yeah, and maybe at the end we could talk about a little bit about like maybe the most successful ones, like maybe a little bit of discussion about that.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, let's do that. I guess what we'll do is kind of like what we normally do, and I'm just curious, what is the first film franchise that you were introduced to? And we'll kind of start off with that. Gray, what is the first film franchise that you got introduced to, and what type of impact did that have on you?
It made me love Harrison Ford. I'm not sure if it was Indiana Jones or if it was Star Wars, but it was definitely one of those two. They were just always there since I was a kid. They were always on. Yeah, we had like the tapes and the DVDs once I got older, but yeah, man, I think that's the first one that I can think of. But I got a heavy dose of all of them. TV raised me.
All right. What about you, Warren?
The biggest one that came to my mind was the original Charlton Heston Planet of the Apes, because they were all out. And I only thought there was the first one. Then as I got a little bit older, I found out there was 5 of them. And then I found out how they were all interconnected. And it kind of blew my mind. It's like, you can do this with the, like I was just like, holy cow. So that was like the first one that I would also, like, I probably watched Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark first, but I discovered that one and they were already all out at that time period. And it was kind of amazing to me. It was like, wow, this is really crazy, because I never even knew that there was 5 of them until I got like a little bit around high school age, and I was like, holy crap, there's 5 of these? Charlton Heston was 2 of them?
Beneath the Planet of the Apes. The apes have a bomb, and the bomb is God. You can't fuck with that.
No, hell no.
You know what's funny is I didn't even know he was in a second one until late into my teenage years.
He's there for a little bit.
And I was gonna say,
he's got
sort
more
of
time in it. No, he has more time in it than Arnold Schwarzenegger does in his underwear.
Okay, but you could argue the impact. Like, Bob didn't even know about it, but we all knew about Arnold.
I'm telling you. I went to Blockbuster Video one night. You remember those days when we go to Blockbuster Video, and it occurred to me I had never watched Planet of the Apes. So I wanted to go ahead and watch it. And of course, I saw all the sequels sitting there. I was like, oh, cool. They had other sequels. And then when I read the description on the back of the second one, and I'm like, oh my God, Charlton Heston's in this one. I never even realized that, because even though I had never seen the original, I always knew Charlton Heston was in the original because I had seen clips of that end scene and whatnot. So yeah, I had always known that, but just didn't know about the second one. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
What about you, Laps? What is the first franchise that you were introduced to, and how did it impact you?
I don't know if it was necessarily a franchise, but like the Bible movies with Charlton Heston, like the Ten Commandments. And
hell yeah.
And like all, you know what I mean?
I'd like to think they're connected.
They definitely are. They have a running theme. So, but to be honest, it would be Planet of the Apes for me. My grandfather was a huge Papes fan. And he loved it. He thought they were fucking hilarious. And that's like one of the few times, like, because he was a war veteran, as most of our grandfathers were, and he was very disgruntled with the government, I would say, after that. And he just thought that it was the funniest shit. Like, he would just be like, look at it, talking apes. What the fuck? How'd that happen? Look at him. Yelling at Ben-Hur. Yeah. So I'd say,
you see, I told you it was all going to shit.
It did. And yeah, you animals. That end scene though, man, like is the first twist. Like, yeah, it's like you blew it up. It's like how many times? I think that might be parodied more than anything.
Yeah,
anything in the history of ever. I mean, it's been done so many times in so many things, just different things from that movie, Dr. Zaius. You know what I mean? Like, there's just so much in those movies. But as like you, I didn't know there was more of them until when I was watching them with my grandfather. He was like, all right, we're going to watch Apes. That's what he said, and then different ones would come on. And the second one, the guy kind of looks like Charlton Heston, but then Charlton Heston comes out of the thing, like William Shatner, and then it's like, wait a minute, what's happening here? There's two of you? Like, oh God, yeah, the Apes movies, they're fucking phenomenal, man. I love that shit. Yeah.
Well, speaking of William Shatner, that was the franchise that I was first introduced to, was the Star Trek franchise. And, as far as I realized it was a franchise, because I'd watched some of the Star Wars movies, but I was kind of too young to really kind of put anything together. I mean, you had Star Wars, but then you had The Empire Strikes Back, and I know they had episode 4, 5, and 6, but I wasn't paying attention at that age, reading that stuff.
I did. I was like, what happened to 1, 2, and 3? That's what I said when I first saw it. I was like, what did I miss? What happened?
But for Star Trek though, they put a number at the end of that thing. You had Star Trek 2. He had Star Trek 3. So I'm like, okay, so these are supposed to be watched in order here. But yeah, that was probably the first franchise that I really remember being introduced to. Right after that was probably Star Wars, as far as realizing that was, kind of, they were all interconnected films. And both of them had probably an equal impact on me. Because I to this day, I'm a big sci-fi fantasy type fan because of those films. So yeah, those were the franchises that really got me hooked on films. And then of course around the same time was Indiana Jones, and then kind of a guilty franchise when I was young was the Jaws franchise.
Hey,
so
that's a great franchise.
Yeah, but I say it's a guilty pleasure because I think the first one is awesome. The second one's okay, and then it keeps getting worse as it goes along. But again, I still watched that entire franchise as a kid. So it did stick with me, and I remember really enjoying science and sharks and stuff like that because of the Jaws franchise. So that had an impact on me. So yeah, kind of like you, Gray, where you were raised on TV, I was raised on movies. And so, yeah, a lot of that stuff had an impact on me.
Don't worry, you didn't miss out on anything. I was raised by people, and look what the fuck happened to me. Don't worry, you didn't miss that. You didn't miss shit.
All right. Well, with that being said, let's just go ahead and dive into our top 5 franchises of all time. And Gray, we're going to start off with you, Mr. Controversy. What have you got for us at number 5?
Here we go.
Okay, so I should have asked questions to you guys, but I think it's better if I answer my own questions and, sway to the beat of my own drum, if you will. So I Googled a bunch, what is a franchise? Like, I wouldn't consider, like, say, the Human Centipede trilogy as a franchise. And I was trying to think why that was. And then I saw a bunch of them that it basically said, like, it goes from a series of movies into a franchise when it branches out into a different medium other than simply film. And I don't know, that kind of resonated with me. So
you
thinking of that,
this Human Centipede VR game? It's a
I
mouthful.
have not.
It's a mouthful.
Human Centipede Monopoly? You haven't done that? No.
Because I was wondering, because like there's certain things that like they only have 3 movies, but I think of it as a trilogy, or I think of it as a franchise, not just a trilogy. So I was trying to think what the difference is, and I guess that's essentially what AI on the internet kind of defined it as, and that's essentially the summary I got from looking it up in a bunch of different places. So that's where I went with, and then I was trying to think which one kind of affected me the most. There's one of them that I definitely enjoyed in multiple different mediums, and I think it's been absolutely consistent. I think there was this first one that was just groundbreaking and very impactful, and then the second one, it hit even harder for me in a weird way and made me kind of question things very differently. And then recently there was a third installment, and yeah, it was kind of controversial. So I'm talking about the 28 later franchise. So 28 days later, 28 weeks later, 28 years later, and then the Bone Temple pilot as well. Yeah,
Bone
28
Temple
days
pilots.
later. Yeah, 28 years later, Bone Temple. I don't know, man. There's some weirdness to this. So I remember recent to when it came out, I saw that there was the first one. Sorry, 28 days later. I knew that there was a comic series, so I thought that would follow it quite consistently. And man, they diverge so much. It's such an interesting world. I kind of dig both of them, but I really dig what Danny Boyle and Alex Garland were able to do with that first one. And then, man, there's things that I never thought I'd question in a zombie movie, but just that opening to 28 weeks later, it sticks with me so much. Just the husband willing to essentially like doom his wife out of like cowardice to just get the fuck out of there. Man, I never thought that I'd question shit like that, and
I'd do it.
Would kind of take that with me. No, I get it. Just it's different. And then to come back like, I don't know, 18 years later or something like that with 28 years later, and do some weird divisive shit with that. I really dug what they did. I can understand why people really hated it, but man, being able to lead that into kind of my favorite of the franchise, which is Bone Temple, man, it's really impactful. Maybe there's some recency bias going on here. They did just come out in the last 2 years, but man, when I'm thinking like franchises that didn't drop the ball anywhere, that's the one for me. And then they've got subsequent comic series that I have never read, so I don't know the ones. There was like, I'd be interested in it, man. I dug the first run of them, but yeah, man. I think that one has to come in number 5 for me. Is the 28 later franchise.
All right. I haven't seen Bone Temple yet, but you're not the only one who's told me Bone Temple's much better than its predecessor. Like I'm one that didn't particularly
they filmed
like
it on
28 years later, but because it was a divisive film. But I've heard a lot of people say that that Bone Temple is a much better film, so I do need to actually watch it. Once I do, I'll let you know what I think about it.
I would check it out, man. Nia Costa did something amazing with that one, and it's actually filmed on cameras, not on iPhones or whatever. So,
right.
Yeah, it's nice.
Is next going to be 28 decades later? Or are they going to?
Yeah. I mean, it's a ways away, but yeah, it's
28 movies later,
like 28 centuries later,
lifetimes later. I like the movies, though, so I can't say nothing. I like those movies.
Yeah, I liked the first two. Again, I didn't like the 28 years later, but I do need to see the Bone Temple. So I'll check it out and
I've
let
heard
you know
other
what I think.
good things
Yeah,
about
yeah.
Bone
Don't
Temple.
look up the Bone Temple on Google.
I won't. Because if I do, I might watch it. You know, so,
Oh, you might, will you?
I might. Well, let me read the description first. You know? Ward, what do you got at number 5?
My number 5 was a film series that just recently filmed, possibly their last one, and up until the last two, I thought they were doing pretty awesome, but the last two kind of fizzled out for me, and that is the Mission Impossible series. I remember when the first one came out, it was kind of your decent by the numbers spy movie. Then they had that John Woo sequel, which was like, it was crazy.
Dude,
Then
sword fighting
they did-
bikes.
Yeah. And then they did the third one, which turned into like this Philip Seymour Hoffman as the villain. And it was much more of I don't know if you want to say like scream. It was very different. Like he didn't even like beat up him much at the end. It's like the guy just got hit by a bus, and it was a much different kind of villain for him. Then it was kind of Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation, and then I think where it peaked was Fallout, and that's where they started kind of running together and being like true sequels to each other, which was weird that 4, 5, and 6 are more truer sequels than 1, 2, and 3 are. And then the last two of it was not that great. I thought the last one was probably the weakest one of all of them. But overall, though, I really liked that whole Ethan Hunt saga. I liked the action. I liked everything about the way those films came together. And it was one of those ones where I can pick up and watch the first 6, pretty much any time, especially with how crazy 1, 2, and 3 are different from each other. And then when it goes into the Ghost Protocol on, it really turns into a full, like a real trilogy after that point, which I always thought was interesting.
I'd almost include 3 in that as well, just because they of his wife that they bring back later on. That'd be the only reason I'd probably include that in that. But I know what you're saying, that the first 3 are real different, and then 4, 5, 6 feel very much like they're in the same tone, so to speak. And then the last 2, of course, they're true. One's a true sequel to the other one. And same thing, they still fit within the previous films, but they still have a little different tone than 4, 5, and 6. I agree with you. I think the last one's the weakest. But for me, like, even if it's the weakest, I still think a weak film in that franchise is better than a best film in some of the others that are out there. I think Tom Cruise just does a fantastic job with those stunts in those last 2, especially in the last one with that plane sequence. I think that's amazing.
The only thing that stuck with me was how the villain died. After being like built up as like this super anti-spy kind of guy, and then he essentially just gets nutted on the back of the plane and then kind of comically falls off. And that, to me, that was kind of like, okay, we could have done a little bit better than that for this guy than having something look like a Looney Tune prank at the end of it.
Wile E. Coyote going off.
Yeah.
I
think 6 was the peak for it. I think Fallout was the best out of all of the Mission Impossible films.
I agree.
I would be like, if you told me that Henry Cavill would have ended up being in the villain in the best Mission Impossible movie, I'd have been like, how? But it was just, it worked. I mean, he practically grew a beard during the bathroom fight scene after he cocked his shotgun fist. Like,
well, and that infamous mustache that he grew definitely played into.
He ruined another franchise.
He was great in that one and ruined another one. All right, Lapsed, what do you got for us at number 5?
John Wick.
Ooh,
John Wick.
good choice.
I never thought I would. So like, I came late to the Wick party after it was already out. The first one was already out in theaters, and someone I can't remember who told me about it, and they were just like, you got to watch it. And I started, and man, I was like, for the first 20 minutes of this movie, I'm like, really? This is what is this? Like, okay, guy's got a dead wife and he's got a puppy from the dead, and okay. And Theon Greyjoy is a dick in this movie as well. So, but then the killing starts. And I was like, oh, all right, here we go. This is awesome. And I thought, I saw the second one in the theater, and the same thing happened. The first, 20 minutes of that second movie, looks like he's in the fucking meeting the lady in the bathtub or the thing where she's bleeding out. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And then the tunnel scene in France happens. And you're like, oh, I remember why I liked this franchise. I didn't see the spin-off movie. What was it called? I can't remember. Ballerina. No, wait, I did. I saw some of it. My wife, because she loves that franchise as well, and I didn't think it was as bad as people said it was. But yeah, the main Wick movies, I think they're movies that you could turn on at any point in time, and I thought that the whole mystery behind all of these assassins and the house and the hotel and all the stuff, I thought it was really cool, man, and the gold coins and all the cool shit. I thought it was really neat, man. And just the whole story in the first movie, whenever he's telling his son about what he did, who he fucked with, and when John Leguizamo slaps the shit out of him. It's there's only a couple of good things that John Leguizamo's ever done, and one of them was die in The Happening, and the second was this. And no, there's a couple other things that he did that I can't remember, but I know I liked it. But yeah, those were, yeah. I thought John Wick, solid. The mainline movies, solid as shit. I like them all. So, yeah.
Yeah, I like all the mainline movies as well. Ballerina, I think, is pretty good. I actually enjoyed it. I understand why it's not as good as the main films. I mean, your main character's only in it for a little bit, but I thought she was pretty good in the film.
I thought she was the best part of the movie.
Yeah,
she's good.
Yeah, I thought she was all right.
They did a good job of they didn't pretend that an 80-pound ballerina chick was some kind of superhuman. And even when she faced John Wick, he essentially didn't kill her because he didn't want to. They didn't girl boss her through the whole thing. And there are some times where it's but still, though, they did a really good job of okay, I could see someone her size pulling this off. And she didn't and she got hit, she got hurt. I mean, it was pretty well done. I know that they're making a new movie based off the Donnie Lee's character from the last one, the blind assassin, and I'm really excited about that one.
Now with punching, I agree, right?
Yeah.
I agree. But I always tell people, when you don't believe that an 80-pound woman can do these things, go to a jiu-jitsu class and wait till you get tapped out by white belts that are 12-year-old girls.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck.
Well, what I meant
but I know what you're saying, yes.
Yeah,
but I know
they did a good job of okay, how would someone her size do this?
Not like in Hawkeye for the Marvel shows where duckfoot dumbass is punching out 300-pound men.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know
I believed that she could kick those people's asses when I was watching the ballerina.
Right. Or what was the girl in the fucking the Captain America Brave New World? That freaking little spy chick. What the fuck was that? Come on, man.
No, what you mentioned, Warren, in Ballerina, I mean, they take it into account because as they're training her, they tell her, you're weaker. They basically tell her you have to cheat in order to do this.
And then after she kicks the dude right in the nuts, and it's okay, that's gonna hurt no matter how big you are.
Yeah,
I actually thought the weakest part of the John Wick franchise was probably the Continental, the TV show that was on Peacock. I don't know if you saw it or not.
Yeah, that one was
I didn't.
Yeah,
care
that's
for it.
I think the weakest part of the John Wick franchise. But the rest of it, the movies, I think are all good.
Yeah, the movies are great in my opinion. Like I said, the ballerina was okay. But yeah, I like the mainline ones. It's ones that I could just sit there, turn off my brain, and be entertained.
Yeah,
And that's honestly like, if you're looking for just like a franchise that's doing its job, that's kind of what you want. You know what I mean? Like, especially if don't get me wrong, I like movies that challenge things and set boundaries, but the older I get, the more I'm just like, dude, I worked my ass off, dude. I just want to be entertained. I don't want to think so hard. Like I watched Nuremberg with my mom, and I'm sitting there going, I know it's a good movie, like well acted, but I'm like, I don't care. Very well acted movie, though. I'll give you that. But yeah, so.
All right. For me, my number 5, it actually pains me to put it all the way down here, because it's 10 years ago, this would have been my number 1, but due to just time and more recent entries in the franchise, along with the television shows, my number 5 is Star Wars. Now, if we're talking just the OT, that would still be number 1. But we're talking about the entire. But I'm talking about the entire franchise, and so because of that, I'm including the prequels, I'm including the spinoffs, I'm including the sequels.
Is there
all the television
good
shows
from Star Wars besides like the original movies? And
that's
like,
maybe Clone Wars if you want. I mean,
well,
I thought the Clone Wars.
Okay, yes, I you can. I guess you can count that with the.
Well, I mean, if you count the TV stuff, I know. Yeah.
Right. No, I'm just saying, like a cartoon. Like, I don't know how many people are gonna go to watch it. But yes, I know it did well. But in terms of what was the one show that Andor, like that had really good stuff. But like, what else?
It's amazing.
There? What else is there?
What else do you need? It's the best thing
Out of something
possibly
that's
ever done in
existed
Star
since
Wars.
1976.
Well, like
you need a lot of stuff.
It's a good point though. Like the original trilogy is legendary. The
Right.
prequel trilogy only looks better because of how bad the sequel trilogy is.
I liked the third one. I don't like how fast he turned, but I thought the third one felt like a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
The other two did not.
If you look at like Rogue One is good.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. Solo was a flop.
Horrible.
It's
the sequel trilogy, terrible.
Sequel trilogy was terrible.
Mandalorian
Acolyte was terrible. I mean, even Ahsoka, which was well done. If you didn't watch 80 hours of Clone Wars and Rebels, you didn't know what was going on or didn't get the impact of what was going on. Mando movie, which I think financially is doing okay, but it's also a very kind of thin movie that's not that really critically good.
Season 2 and 3 were like,
don't be surprised if Mando actually finishes at number 3 this weekend. And the reason I'm saying that is because Obsession keeps building a lot of steam, and that actually finished at number 2 on Wednesday. So don't be surprised if that actually finishes number 2 with Backrooms finishing number 1 over the weekend. Now, I could be wrong. Mando still might be number 2 because I have a feeling it's going to finish below Backrooms. But
you don't hear anything about Mando, though.
Yeah,
I hear more about Obsession, and I don't even really like horror movies. I don't even
Obsession
care.
was good. I really liked Obsession.
I think you might like it.
And I don't like horror.
I don't like horror either, and my wife went to see it, and I didn't go.
Yeah.
There's some reason.
You should have, man.
No, dude, I don't go to see horror movies in the theater because if I end up not liking it, I ruin it for everybody.
Yeah.
That's the problem. I'll wait till I can watch it at home, and then if I enjoy it, cool. But most of the time, dude, like, I don't know why. Like, I just don't know why I can't get my mind in that space. I don't know why. I try. I don't know why I do it. I have no idea, especially since I watch superhero stuff, which is just as stupid, if not more stupid. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. I understand where I'm sitting right now. I get it. It's just for some reason I don't know why I don't. I wish I did, because there's so many cool, you know what I mean? There's so many cool, like, horror movies out there that I know that people love and enjoy, and I watch them, and I'm just like going, I don't like this, and I don't know why. I wish I did.
But yeah,
Hey, if it's not your cup of tea, I get it. Obsession, like I said, that's not that. I'm not real big into horror, but that was one I really, really liked. And it just keeps gaining a lot of steam, which is why I would not be surprised if that finished as the number 2 movie over the weekend, ahead of The Mandalorian and Grogu. And that goes back to, why Star Wars has just really dropped down my list. Again, about 7 or 10 years ago, that would have been number 1 as my favorite film franchise. But with all the stuff that's come out since then, it's just really dropped down my list. Now, I do think there have been some good things. I did enjoy Mando season 1 and 2. I did like Rogue One. Andor season 1 I liked. I haven't finished season 2 because I got bored, but I do need to pick it back up because people have said that it finishes off really, really strong. So I do need to pick that back up. But yeah, all the extra stuff is why it just dropped down my list. So it pains me to put it there, but it's still in my top 5. So I got Star Wars as my number 5. All right. Gray, back to you, man.
Yeah.
What do you got at number 4?
Good question. Let me look at the official list here.
Oh, it's an official
that's correct. It's an official one. Well, thank you for that amazing introduction to the official list. So this one, I think it's just been strong all around. It is one of the weirdest franchises, but then it branched out into comic books, crossovers, even with some even bigger franchises. And then it's also gone into video games, which are just like amazing. I'm talking about the Evil Dead franchise, man. The original Evil Dead, amazing. Evil Dead 2, why the hell does that work? Like, it's essentially like a remake of the first one, kind of, but maybe not. Maybe Ashley just went back to the same cabin. Who knows? But man, both of them are just like so iconic for low budget horror, and then just the acting. Like Bruce Campbell, that chin, he could pull it off. He could pull off anything. And then that's when you get to my personal favorite, Army of Darkness, where you get that comedy and they're really like leaning into it. But then you've got that medieval aesthetic and just the dorky awesomeness that is Bruce Campbell with the whole groovy thing. I dig it. The boomstick. I can't remember what the video game was called now, but there's some awesome video games that also came out of this.
The first Evil Dead game was fun. Was really fun.
There's really like 3 of them that were amazing. There's a couple of them that kind of sucked, but
I didn't like the second 2, but that's not because the game itself was bad. Like, it played great. I just didn't like what they did with the story. But I love that first game, dude. I love it. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
I'd play it right now. I would play it right now if I still had the system, and so I would play it right now. I loved it so much. Played the shit out of it.
And there's 100%. And then there's the comic book crossovers. You do have Ash with isn't it Marvel Zombies? I know Ash has been in like a shitload of them. But then on top of that, you've got a shitload of short films that a whole lot of people have kind of put together. But then you also get video games. Hail to the King. I really dug that one back in the day. Fistful of Boomsticks was okay. But man, once you get to some of these other ones, just there's so many amazing ones. And then you get weird crossovers as well. And then, as Warren mentioned, you get Ash versus Evil Dead. The weirdly not as popular as it should have been IFC thing. Like, part of it's because they were on this weird channel, but man, it was awesome. That deserved a lot more. But yeah, I think it's one of the most solid ones. And then they have remakes that are decent. They're not doing the same thing, but man, they're using some of that same Raimi cam trick where they're kind of mounting a camera to a plank and kind of running with it, doing the zoom at the same time you're kind of zoom out as you're running in. It makes for this awesome shot. They're using those, but it's a lot more modern, and they're not quite doing the humor part to it. but they're still really effective. Maybe more effective horror-wise than the originals.
Are they
they're their own thing.
connected? Like, is there the same actress? I watched the first one of the remakes, but I haven't watched any of the other ones. Are they connected with the same people all the way through, or is it just kind of like the Book of the Dead going to different people kind of thing?
I think it's just different. I got to admit, I only saw the second one once, but I didn't see any connection, so I could be way off of that. And then they have another one that's coming out this year, and the trailers look pretty creepy in it. So I'm excited for that one. I think it's going to be as successful as the other ones horror-wise. But
the first one I watched was Army of Darkness, and to my shock, when I went to go, hey, I need to watch the first two now. This is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite the same movie.
You're like, what is this?
Yeah.
I don't like
the first, going on here?
I personally don't like the first Evil Dead. I don't know why, but I like the second one and the Army of Darkness. I thought the second one was funny. I don't know why. Like, just the whole the witch scene is just so or whatever she is, dude. It's so funny to me. I don't know why. And just part 3 obviously has some of quite possibly the 2 best endings to a movie.
Yeah, both are great.
They're both pretty damn good. So, but yeah, I don't know, man. I wish I liked the first one more, but I didn't. Maybe I'd have to rewatch it because I do like Bruce Campbell.
It honestly could be the weakest one in the franchise, that first one, but man, it's still got this place in my heart. Like, it is this extreme low budget thing, but
right.
Sam Raimi was able to do with the camera angles and the weird, whatever you want to call it, like Deadite vision, the Raimi cam. Just, man, it's amazing, and it spawned so many other iconic shots going forward. So I don't know, I just have the soft spot for it, but I admit it's not the greatest one. I do enjoy 2 more than 1, but they're both great.
All right. So you got the Evil Dead franchise at number 4. Warren, what do you got at number 4?
At number 4 is a franchise we talked about earlier before we started the countdown, and that was the Planet of the Apes. And I like both the original 5 and I like the new remakes. I really enjoyed with the original 5 was how it was essentially kind of like almost like Terminator, where after beneath Planet of the Apes, the 2 Cornelius and I forgot her name, they go onto the ship and they go back in time, and then they have the baby that eventually becomes Caesar, that leads to the taking over. Like, so it was like this complete circle thing that they were doing, and I always thought that was really neat, even though the films, they were kind of all over the place quality wise. And then when they did the remakes of them, I really enjoyed the first 2. The third one not as much, and then the new one that came out wasn't bad. But at the same time, it's almost like with the Evil Dead, I wished the remakes of the Evil Dead would go towards Army of Darkness, but I don't think that's ever going to happen, and I don't think we're ever going to see male astronauts showing up, and now the world's completely Planet of the Apes. Instead, they're going on with this more kind of, I don't know what you want to call it, realistic take, if you will, of how the apes are taking over and all those lines. But yeah, that original 5 movies, as cheesy as they are, but I do like the fact how they live together.
The first 3 are great. I think.
Yeah.
I think the first 3 are great. Beneath is where it starts like, what are you doing? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
It's a little bit weird with the cult and all the weird stuff.
It's not a little bit, dude. That's super weird. And that's why you got to love that. It's less weird than the Tim Burton one.
Yeah.
No.
I didn't even mention the Tim Burton one because I don't believe that one exists.
The Tim Burton one just sucked.
Yeah, that one was just terrible.
Come on, dude. I love Planet of the Apes, and I've watched them many times.
How could you not like the Tim Burton one? It's got Charlton Heston as an ape saying those damn dirty humans.
He's got old Mark Wahlberg. He's out there doing the ape thing.
The only thing that pissed me off about that, besides the movie sucking, and I thought Tim Roth was great, but
was it Abraham Lincoln? Was that what pissed you
No,
off?
Abraham Lincoln. The twist was stupid. It just didn't make any sense, right?
Yeah, no.
Abraham, come on.
But like if you're Mark Wahlberg, right, and you're a spaceman, and you're on this planet, you know, and this ape lady wants to have ape sex with you. You have ape sex with the ape lady. Nobody's gonna find out.
Why not? Exactly.
Who's she gonna tell? And you already saw what they do. They get on top of you and they you have sex with the ape lady, right? Do you or do you not?
I say you do.
You do. I do.
That's the one thing that Charlton Heston was missing out in the original ones, was that he didn't have bang enough apes.
Well, it's because the apes didn't find him attractive, you know.
They didn't.
He's so
They
damn
didn't.
ugly.
But he had that hot piece of ass with him. So it
Oh
didn't
yeah,
matter.
Nova. Well, I think
Yeah.
Nova.
Woo. Woo.
All right. Well, so Warren, you got Planet of the Apes. You're number 4. Laps. What about you? Number 4.
My number 4 is Batman.
Ooh.
I think Batman is a franchise.
What are you including? All of them?
Just every movie. Like there's ups and downs, but I mean, I look at like Batman and Batman Returns as awesome, and then it you know had some bad ones there.
Schumacher.
It had the Schumacher ones, which are hilarious. They're hilarious. And then, you know, you had the Nolan trilogy, just like, which I thought was really good. Like I have a soft spot for Rises in my heart because like a lot of it was filmed in Pittsburgh and I got to see a lot of the film. Like I got to see the whole fight at City Hall. Like I even
cool.
collected the fake cotton snow that was there. So like it was cool because what they did was like, if you've ever been to Pittsburgh, there's so many alleys, right? There's just alleys through every downtown building, right? So where that was located was there's a section where our City Hall jail library thingy is, right? And off to the side here, there's an alleyway and it was lined off, right? Well, for the next 4 alleys down, it was just lined with the tumblers. Like they call the Rumbler or Tumbler, the Batmobiles.
Yeah.
Dude, I got into one of those things. I started fucking around, dude. Me and my brother-in-law. I'll get the pictures from him, but we were fucking around with stuff, dude, because they were just open and stuff. We weren't supposed to be there, but I worked in the strip district and I had to walk by there. But what they did was they had all these like weird cotton ball thingies on the ground. They were like shredded cotton. They had these giant fans. And they had them on the ground and up on buildings and everything. And they just started blowing them. And that's why it looked like it was snowing. And it was cool as hell, man. There was like so many like little cool things that I got to see. Like I was in the crowd for the Heinz Field stuff, which was neat. But you can't see anybody. You know what I mean? Like it was so hot. It was so hot, dude. Like, and they did so many takes of everything, dude. I left, but like it was cool to see. And like Pittsburgh doesn't get that many big movies, you know what I mean? They had like that one Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, and that Bruce Willis movie where he's the cop. I can't remember what the hell, because he's a cop in every fucking movie. But
So it didn't narrow it down for me.
I can't remember the name of it, but that was in Pittsburgh, and so it was kind of cool, like to be a part of that. But I think as a whole, and I like the Batman. I thought they didn't do Riddler justice, me personally. Like, there's a reason why Riddler is very sparingly used, right? He's the Riddler. If you don't have good riddles, right, it's kind of hard to do the Riddler. And if you just make him an offshoot of the Joker, it just doesn't work for me.
That's what I was going to ask you. So, okay, Jim Carrey Riddler versus Paul Dano Riddler.
Well,
where are you going with this?
I don't think either of them. Neither of them were good. Even if you had,
well, you got to choose, man.
I don't have to choose anything. I can say I don't like either of them. I don't have to like either.
No, it's not hypothetical.
The one in the animated series. No, that's the Riddler.
Well, that's the thing though. If you notice, they actually had the riddles. They had them. They used them, right? Like they even Bruce Timm is like, if you don't have the riddles, you can't do it, and that's why they changed his character in the comic books because like he's such an iconic character, but it's like if you don't have the traps, you don't have the riddles, you don't have a character, right? And I just thought the Batman fell apart at the end. I just did not like the end of that movie. It's like YouTube, really? Like that's what it was? Like YouTube? Seriously?
Okay.
Like,
But the Penguin, though.
Server all build up.
yeah, but the Penguin's great. The Penguin's great. Doesn't mean at the end of the movie didn't suck. Like the Penguin's
It
awesome.
made it better.
Yeah, I think
The
the last
Penguin
third
did
is
not
definitely.
make the end of that movie any better.
Yeah, I think
It
the
did.
last
Penguin
third
made,
of.
Penguin made the movie better.
Yeah,
the
the
scene-
last
the-
third of the Batman, I think, is extremely weak.
Yeah,
I really love
it's
the
not
first
good.
2/3. The
Yeah.
last third, I don't particularly
Dude.
think it's that good, but I
The-
still like the movie overall. But I'm one of those that I enjoy the movie even more because of the Penguin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's the ambience of that movie and the way they got Gotham very well. Like just the whole atmosphere of that movie is incredible. I saw that in DTS where they have like the speakers under you and over you and all like, dude, it was crazy.
Nice.
But you know, like that end, man, I didn't care for it. Now,
Slow Nirvana, though.
if they come back and it's like Killer Croc comes in because it's flooded, that would be cool. Just saying. That'd be cool.
I thought the opening was one of the best openings to a
Dude, the
live
whole
action
shadows
Batman,
and everything.
with the
Yeah.
shadows thing.
Yeah.
I personally, I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm just tired of realistic Batman.
I understand.
really-
I know where you're
yeah.
coming from.
I
I'm
want to
with you
see
on that.
Arkham Batman really
I-
bad. I've said this before, but this is not doesn't mean that the Batman wasn't a bad movie. I liked a lot of it. I agree though the last third was just it was not great.
Yeah,
on the ending.
Even don't get me wrong, Arkham Batman. Even I want to see the surroundings of Arkham Batman. The Batman himself. I would like to see him actually have a character.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to like people complain like, oh, he was the same, you know, like there was no Bruce Wayne. Listen, all I'm saying is you don't like people that complain about that. It's like, dude, you needed to see him act like a jackass.
Well, plus two, he's what second year in the Batman.
Yeah, and if
There's
you
no
read,
Bruce Wayne character
there's-
yet.
right. And if you
Yeah.
read Batman back then, that was the whole problem with him and Alfred. Like he was neglecting his duties as Bruce Wayne because he was so captivated in being Batman, and he didn't really like, you know, he was missing like the jumps and like the fucking batarangs and bat hooks. He was fucking that shit all up. Like, and you know, you have to establish something first. I don't see the need to show him with his arms around a couple of women saying, ha ha, sex, you know, or like, why do I have to see that? Like to know it exists. Like,
I think he needs. What I liked about that was that he needs to develop that. Like he's
He
so
can
early in his
develop it,
career, he hasn't realized that there's also good he can do as the Playboy, and he's still, to him, Bruce Wayne's not even person yet. He is the Batman. So I like that, and I thought Andy Serkis did a really good job as Alfred, which I didn't know going in how I felt about that, but then seeing it, I was like, yeah, he's a good job in that.
I thought he did a good job as well. It's just there's so much that you can do with the character. I mean, like you could literally follow the 70s Jim Aparo stuff and do some really, really cool shit. You know, you could follow the Denny O'Neil stuff and do some really, really cool stuff. And it doesn't always have to lead to a Justice League. It doesn't always have to lead to something else. You can have standalone movies, and that's fine. In fact, I think that works. I like Ben Affleck as Batman.
Yeah,
I do. I thought he was probably one of the best Batmans
yeah.
there was. I actually did. Because I thought they nailed
Batman in bad movies.
Yeah, and I thought they nailed the between both characters. I thought they did a very good job. Now, I think that what would work for Batman is they need to stop making movies. Number one, for a while, make an HBO series where you have a main villain, right? That starts off the show, but every episode you might have a monster of the week, you know, that leads still the main villain's back there, and it leads up to like the last 3 episodes being about the main villain, and you know, you have like 10 episodes, make it on HBO, something like, do something good, but stop making it grounded because he's a guy. He fights giant crocodile men and sharks. Like, come on, dude. Batman from the 50s used to go to space. Like, you know what I mean? Like, come on, people. Like, he used to jump from moon to moon. Like, what are we doing here? Like, you can make it
going way
fun
back.
still.
I mean, he didn't used to fight sharks. He had shark repellent. Come on, dude.
Yeah,
Well,
true.
that's a thing, I guess. But he did fight King Shark. They fought.
All right.
And I just think there's so much that you could do with it, and I thought Tim Burton did a very, very good job. I wish that there was a third one of that, but you know, kids' meals will always rule the universe, and apparently you can't have that. Even though, like a couple years later, you could have Terminator 2 Happy Meals. So what the fuck do I know?
All
The
right.
fuck do I know?
So you got Batman at your number 4. My number 4 is going to be the Indiana Jones franchise. I love this franchise. Even Crystal Skull, I like. I'm not saying it's good.
Premise. I like the
but I
premise
like
of
it.
it. I
Yeah,
just don't like Shia LaBeouf or LaBeouf
Yeah.
or whatever. It's kind of
I still
annoying.
like the film. It's the weakest of the films up to that point. And then Dial of Destiny says Hold My Beer, and I think is even worse.
Oh,
So yeah,
Phoebe
that's also
Waller-Bridge.
this is another case where I think it probably would have been a little higher on my list, except for that last film. But because it was only one really bad film and one okay film with 3 awesome films, I'm still going to have it at my number 4. Harrison Ford is awesome in the role. I love the fact, you know, he made archaeology cool. Everybody wanted to go be an archaeologist because of that. We wanted to go find hidden treasures and all sorts of artifacts and stuff like that. He made it look cool. And what I like in the films is that they sometimes tease the fact that it's boring. Like, oh yeah, archaeology, most of it is research in the library, and X never marks the spot. And then later in the film, he's like, X marks the spot right there. And,
dude, how many boys had belt whips? That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I had ones. But yeah, Indiana Jones is great. Again, Harrison Ford is perfectly cast in that role. He is that character. If I remember, Harrison Ford has even said that was his favorite character that he's played, and so yeah, he's the embodiment of that. And they're all just fun adventures that you can go on with him and just have a good time. So that's my number 4.
Yeah, that last movie is just man. Why? I don't understand why in movies, when they introduce a new character, that they have to upstage the old character to make this one relevant. Like, why is she knocking him out? Why is she like the one that's upstaging him every single minute of every time? Like,
I think you're moving too far into this. Why is he a shirtless old man banging with a bat on someone's door telling him to be quiet? Like, that is not my Indy.
Yeah.
Well, why is he throwing his lightsaber over his shoulder and drinking blue tit milk? I mean, it seems to be a Disney thing. Like
that is a thing. I just don't understand why they do that in most movies, though. I was just using that as an example since we were talking about that. It's just they introduce a character and it's like they have to just shit on it to make this new character better. Like, I just don't understand, like, why can't both be cool? Yeah. Wouldn't that have been really cool if both were likable in the movie, as opposed to one being half likable and the other one being so ungodly unlikable?
You know, we talked about this last when you were on Dad's Turn to Talk, when we talked Top Gun, and we talked about how Maverick, you know, was still Maverick when you got to the second film. They didn't tear him down to build up all the new pilots. In fact, he's still schooling all the new pilots.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. The whole training montage scene. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Everybody.
Yeah, he's schooling them all. And that's the way you do it. You respect your legacy character, and you can still build your new ones. Cobra Kai, I thought, did it pretty well too, where you've got your legacy characters to start. They introduce their new characters, and they slowly build them up. But I don't think they ever really disrespect the original characters for that.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about it with Ballerina. Like,
Yep.
John Wick, Baba Yaga is still Baba Yaga. Like he's still the baddest person alive, and it didn't hurt the overall Ballerina film, in my opinion. Like, it's like we didn't get to see her girl boss John Wick, and that's the way it should be, you know, with that. So
yeah, you can still make that character badass. You don't have to take away from the original. Like that's just something I just don't like, and that's what it seemed like that movie did. And I agree with you, Greg. Yeah, the intro of him all down and out, fucking saggy titted, fucking bang. Like, come on, man. Come on. If you're gonna CG him whipping something, okay? If he can't even do this, however old he is. Why? I shouldn't have to look at him and think I could milk him. You know, like it's not a thing that I should be thinking about Indiana Jones.
Oh man.
Yeah, say what you want. Yeah, I went there. And it's
all
disgusting.
Right. So my number 4, Indiana Jones. Gray, what do you got for us at number 3?
Number 3. So you guys might be a little taken aback when I reveal this franchise. What can I say? It's not just the 3 movies that you're thinking of and then a recent reboot. There was also a TV show that started it all. And then after that, there was this video game that kind of bridged the gap after the third and final chapter and then the reboot. So when I heard that they were going to reboot it as well, it just sounded so horrible to me. But somehow it wasn't the worst reboot I've ever seen. And I actually rank it quite highly. And it was one of my favorite ones of last year. So I'm talking about the Naked Gun franchise.
Right, okay.
So
I'm going to give you that.
It starts with
awesome.
I did not think that when you were. I thought you were talking about Matrix.
Oh hell no!
I was like, it was not that good.
So it starts with Police Squad, this amazing yet underrated TV show that didn't work because you actually had to pay attention to it. There was just sight gag after sight gag, and that's not kind of the way that TV works. But man, did it work in the film form. And then you get Naked Gun, and then you get Naked Gun 2.5, The Smell of Fear, and then Naked Gun 33 1/3, The Final Insult. But these shouldn't have worked. There's plenty of other ones that Zucker has done that really didn't work, but somehow these they're gold. Leslie Nielsen just really knew that Frank Drebin character. And man, to think that Priscilla Presley could come in as kind of that love interest and just knock it out of the park. And then why is O.J. Simpson just like so amazing as Nordberg? Like he was my favorite part of those. And then, I learned history. And yeah, it's a little different now, but also having George Kennedy as Ed in there is just, it's so perfect. I absolutely love this. And then I thought there's no way that Liam Neeson coming in here could in any way make this worth it. And it is a completely different style of humor. They're not going with like the parody movie thing. They're doing their own thing. It's the one dude from Lonely Island. I'm blanking on his name, but he's the one who kind of did that one. And the Chippendale Rescue Rangers reboot as well.
Are we talking Ricardo Montalban?
No, but I love Ricardo Montalban.
Yeah, isn't Ricardo Montalban, isn't he like Wrath of Khan?
Oh, he's amazing. I love Wrath of Khan. But yeah, I think Akiva Shaver is the dude, and
name.
Man, I
was thinking of
absolutely
a different franchise he was in when you mentioned Island. That's why I got confused on that one.
I love me some Montalban. But yeah, I didn't think that Liam Neeson would ever work in The Naked Gun, but somehow it does for me, and it works on a level that's different, but I want to see more of it, much like the original Naked Gun. So
And
I think for me, that's my number 3 franchise. I have probably watched it more than many others, and I still enjoy it every single time. Just there is the laughs per minute in that one. There is joke, what would you call that, density, unlike anything else. Just man,
think,
I
ladies
love
and
Mason.
gentlemen, he's telling you all this while wearing a scarf.
2 scarves, and they're each full of marsupials. What can I say? Sorry, man. My sugar
got a
gliders, they need to be near my
Scarf full
heart.
of marsupials.
2 scarves. They can't be in the same scarf because they're not getting along right now.
That's awesome.
All right. So the Naked Gun for you, Warren. What do you got at number 3?
Number 3 is one that probably, now that I think of it, would have been my earliest franchise, but I didn't think of it as a franchise at the time, and that is Star Trek. I am a big Trekkie. I watched all the original Shatner ones. I watched The Next Generation, the TV shows. The movies were hit and miss, but I've enjoyed them, and I've always been more partial to Star Trek than even Star Wars, even though that I think Star Wars, when it does hit, it's extremely entertaining. But for me, I've always been fascinated with Star Trek. I even liked the Abrams Kelvin universe ones. I thought 1 and 3 were good. I think they really dropped the ball with the second one, trying to hide that he was Khan. They should have just came right out with it and done that. But I'm a big Trekkie fan, and I love all of the. I like, like I said, the movies have been hit and miss, but there's always a kind of a charm to them. And I always thought it was like, what I always found interesting with Star Wars or Star Trek was that this is like a sci-fi fantasy that shows how socialism would work if it ever did work, because the way the society is based around, how they act and along those lines. And it's almost like how it would be more. I always thought it was more realistic, because it was like, if we did find out there was a bunch of aliens out there, that's what would happen, is we would all band together and become one federation again, and then start connecting and communicating and stuff along those lines. So yeah, I've always been kind of a big fan of that. And even down, like, if you watch, like, I think it's like the first episode of the William Shatner Star Trek, which is really, I think it's they're at the border with the Romulan space, and they have a battle with the Romulans. And this time there's no screens in the Enterprise, so they can't actually see them. So everything's going off of radar and along those lines. So it's treated like a sub battle in space. And I thought that was really cool. They actually redid it in what was that TV series where I want to say it's God bless it. It's the one that has the original Pike as captain, and it's been they redid.
Strange New Worlds.
Strange New Worlds redid that episode, but with Pike as control. That's they introduced Kirk, and he's captain of another ship, and they did kind of the same thing with it, which was cool. But yeah, the TV series have not been great with the recent stuff, but I do like Strange New Worlds. The last season was pretty weak, but I have hopes for the next one coming out. But yeah, it's a series. It's a franchise that I think has lots of potential, and it's been more consistent than Star Wars, even though the highs of Star Trek doesn't equal the highs of Star Wars, but the overall consistency of Star Trek, I think, has been more than what Star Wars has done.
All right. I'm not a big fan of the newer Star Trek stuff, but I really liked Picard season 3. Yeah. I really liked that.
That was a really great reunion type season. Yeah.
That was what Star Wars should have done with the sequel trilogy. Turn around, like, the expectation with Star Wars was put all the originals onto into the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon together, go on an adventure. I mean, that's what the expectation was. They didn't do it. What does the Picard season 3 do? It takes the entire crew and puts them on the bridge of the Enterprise that people wanted to see from the Next Generation show, and they had their adventure. I mean, they did it
Well,
right.
and if you look at TV wise, like Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Star Trek: The Next Generation, consistency a lot, especially in the TV area.
Yeah.
Now the movies, it depends on your flavor. Like some of them were pretty bad, some of them were okay, some of them were iconic. The whole con, of the original.
Rathacon, man.
But TV wise, it's been a lot more consistent, except up to till lately. And even lately, it's been hitting pretty bad. Like that Starfleet Academy was
horrible,
so bad that they shit canned it after like what they did. They filmed the second season and then they shit canned it. I mean, but yeah, it's got a lot of potential to bounce back, but it has been having a rough time lately.
Did you know that the actual original pilot for Star Trek, the original one, was recorded for VHS, and it doesn't even have Kirk?
It had somebody else, right?
It has Pike, and Leonard Nimoy, I think, was the only person that they kept from it.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite episodes of the original Star Trek is when Jack the Ripper is there and like Scotty gets blamed for all the murders. So funny.
Did you ever watch the animated series, Warren? The one that was actually voiced or had all the original actors back to voice the characters? You had William
Not
Shatner
in a long
voice.
time, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. That was actually kind of cool too. I thought that was a nice little continuation of the original series. And on a side note, I'm sure you've probably seen it. Star Trek Continues, the web series. I think that's a pretty good fan series that finishes up the original series. I mean, obviously it's just a fan series, but I still thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. So a good choice for your number 3. Laps, what do you got?
Bond film franchise. Love me some Bond.
All of them? All
What?
of them?
Not
all
every
Bonds?
single movie. Not all the Bonds.
Well, the character. The actors?
Not all the actors. Not every single one. But I like most of the movies. I like most of them. I like Sean Connery. I thought Timothy Dalton was okay. I thought Pierce Brosnan fit the role, and I thought GoldenEye was good, but I didn't like The World Is Not Enough and Tomorrow Never Dies. I thought those were meh. And I thought Daniel Craig was incredible. I still think that Casino Royale has one of the best chase scenes in the beginning of that movie, the on foot chasing through. It's just amazing.
It's arguably one of the best Bond movies. Like that one was really
I love
good.
that movie. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah. And I thought that they've had whether you like the actor who's playing him or not, I thought that a lot of the stories were pretty good. And I just have a soft spot for it. And I watch them a lot. My mother likes Bond quite a bit. And thank God Amazon Prime has them all, so I don't have to buy them to watch them, because I know I would have to. But yeah, it's I like it. It's been through its ups and downs. There's been definitely ups and downs for the actors and movies themselves. But I think it's still a big deal whenever you get to be James Bond. I still think it's a big deal. In fact, I'm playing the new Bond game, The First Light, which I think is incredible. It's been so much fun to play, and I'm liking it a lot. I'll give my full review after I beat it in a couple days. So, but yeah, good times, man. Good times. Bond is fun.
If you had to choose a favorite Roger Moore, which movie would that be?
None.
Okay.
The movie where he explodes into octopuses. That one. That happened, right?
Maybe that was Moonraker. I'm not sure.
There's some good skiing in that movie.
All right. So you got
James
James
Bond.
Bond.
I like Bond. I think it's a good series.
Solid choice. For my number 3, I'm going to go with the Lord of the Rings franchise. I think that
especially that new show, man. Whoo,
oh yeah, that Rings of Power is awesome.
It's a good show.
But yeah, I mean that's pretty bad. But the films themselves, the original 3 films. I mean, we're talking films that each one of them were nominated for Best Picture. Obviously, the last one won. I think they're all solid films. I thought those 2 cartoons from years ago, the Hobbit cartoon and the Lord of the Rings cartoon, I thought were
What about
were
the
a lot of
Return
fun
of the
when I
King
was a
one?
kid. What's that?
What about the Return of the King cartoon?
Oh yeah. So I thought that all of those were great. The Hobbit films look like they're Citizen Kane now compared to the Rings of Power. So
I really I watched the Hobbit films of the extended cuts. I really enjoyed them.
I do too.
like it.
I like
Yeah,
the extended
I like
cuts.
them a lot. Yeah,
I like them.
I do too. I had
I
a
don't
good time
mind it.
watching them in theaters, and the extended cuts I think are better.
I don't think I could
than-
do that. I don't think I could watch it in a theater. But
No.
I like watching them
I
at home. I
did.
like the Hobbit ones.
I wish I did.
I think the acting in those films, especially again the Lord of the Rings films, I think is tremendous. They're
Yes.
great ensemble pieces. The music is fantastic. It really can just give you chills in certain scenes, and just the story itself is. I mean, even though it's real fantastical and whatnot, it's still kind of relatable. You know, trying to overcome the odds, and and you being somebody who the situation seems bigger than what you are. And I think that that's relatable. And also the fact that he doesn't get to accomplish his goal without help from his friends along the way. And
That
so,
and massive adversity as well. Like
yeah.
you said, overcoming, and he really doesn't actually accomplish his goal. It actually gets accomplished for him.
Yes, because he actually succumbs to it, and again, that's something that's relatable. And so, yeah, I really enjoy those films. I think they're tremendous. So I got the Lord of the Rings franchise as my number 3.
nice choice.
Gray, what do you got as your number 2?
Yeah. So I was trying to think. So I also did this list subjectively, like which ones affected me. And I was trying to think, what have I watched like literally the most out of any other franchise? And granted, everyone here isn't amazing, but in fact, you can see the drop off between each movie on the Rotten Tomatoes score. But man, are they impactful, and they're a film of the time that really kind of depicts where America was at the time. Mine are the Night of the Ramiro's Dead franchise. So Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Land of the Dead, and then unfortunately Diary of the Dead and Survival of the Dead. And then there are also remakes and whatever you want to call it, Savini's Night of the Living Dead. You've got James Gunn and Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead remake. And then there's the worst of everything, which is, I can't even remember the dude who did it, but the Day of the Dead remake that is just god awful. But yeah, man, just Night of the Living Dead, it offered so much, and it was this weird critique of society. I absolutely love it so much, and for it to still be relevant, but be a film from '68, just man. And then the '90s remake of it as well, where there's a different twist that they kind of put on it. This time, Barbara's a lot stronger. I dig every kind of version of this. And then you get into the weird mall culture that was kind of the 70s, and it's a lot more colorful and a little bit more playful. And then you get the remake of that, where it's possibly the favorite Snyder thing, my favorite Snyder work. And perhaps that's because Gunn got to write it and got to kind of decide where the story went, as opposed to a focus on wheat. But yeah, I absolutely love this. And then my favorite of the Ramiro is Day of the Dead, which is this really cold 80s one. And man, I dig it so much. There's so many just iconic effects in there that just, oh man, just thinking of the hands coming through the brick wall is just amazing. I still don't know exactly how they did that, and I don't want to know because it's just perfect. and so many amazing practical effects there. You get to this weird 2000s thing, and Laps was talking earlier about there aren't many good John Leguizamo movies. This is one of them. It's not the best Dead movie, but Land of the Dead, man, it's got kind of an awesome version in
Was
there.
that the movie, the TV one?
No,
Oh, okay.
I don't believe it was a TV one.
Which one was that? His last one?
No, that's Survival of the Dead. That is not good. That one gets like 29% on Rotten Tomatoes. But Land of the Dead was from like I want to say it was like 2006 or something like that. Yeah, 2006. So they did it in Canada. It has Dennis Hopper. It's one of his last ones in it. He happens to own this giant tower in Pittsburgh that the rich are able to live in while the dead roam below. And yeah, John Leguizamo happens to be someone with a vengeance, a grudge. And yeah, man, it is one of his better film roles. I know last year partial to like Tu Wong Fu, but I say give Land of the Dead a shot.
I am. I don't even know who Julie Newmar is. So,
but thanks for everything. We agree.
She's very thanks for everything. But yeah, apparently, I love that movie.
There was a significant drop off in Ramiro's last two ones, Diary of the Dead, where it's kind of getting into this like first person filming of an event. So it's this camera crew who's in the woods, and then the outbreak happens. So they're kind of documenting it as they go. It's an interesting concept. It doesn't pay off super well. And then unfortunately, his last one that he was able to do was Survival of the Dead. And yeah, it's kind of like this small Irish island. It is not great. It's a significant drop off. Each one went down from like 95, 92, 86, 74. Diary of the Dead got 61. His last one got 29% on Rotten Tomatoes. So it's universally kind of panned, and the story didn't quite finish. He had penned a script for the actual finish of it, and unfortunately, lung cancer took him. But yeah, he's had these grand ideas for what he could do with it, and just he never was able to get kind of the budget that he needed for it. So sadly, he was able to kind of pen this amazing book, and then they brought in another writer to kind of help flesh it out posthumously, since he wasn't able to quite finish it. But yeah, it's able to kind of go on through comics, through again, like there are certain Dead spinoffs. You'd even include Return of the Living Dead is technically a spinoff of Night of the Living Dead. Just man, I absolutely love me some Ramiro zombies. So yeah, that one is the one that's affected me damn near most. So yeah, that's my number 2.
All right.
Good choice.
Yeah. Warren, what do you got at number 2?
For me, number 2 is one that was mentioned earlier, and it is John Wick. And it is one where, as an action fan who loves revenge movies, this is such a love letter to action. It's like, you know, if action movies were art, this would be probably like a Mona Lisa when it comes to stunt work and just the way stuff that they do things. I remember the first one when I heard about it. It was like this guy, you know, he goes on a revenge terror over a dog. And I was like, well, that is the weakest shit to try to justify mass murder. And I don't know how well that's going to work. And then I saw the scene where they killed the dog. And I was like, you know what? You need to go kill every one of those last sons of bitches. And then they do this really thing. Like, if you look at like Predator, they do the movie trope where it's like you spend the first half showing how badass your hero is. Then when he takes on the villains, it shows the villains' power by being able to kick their asses really well. With John Wick, they flip that. Like when you first see John Wick, he's crying over his wife's death. He's crying over this dog. He gets the shit kicked out of him and his car stolen. Then that kid gets slapped by John Leguizamo, and then the movie flips all the tropes, because as soon as he's like, I heard you slap my son, and we're all like, oh, this guy's in trouble. And he's like, well, I did, sir. He beat up John Wick, killed his dog, and stole his car. And the guy just goes, oh. And like that right there just made John Wick seem so badass, like this evil mobster head guy who has everyone terrified of him. Just hears the name John Wick and what his son did, and it completely flips the script on him. And then it was just a really great job of introducing how badass a character is when you just made him look like a wuss for the first 15 minutes. And the action scenes are like I said, are amazing. I did think the last film kind of got to the point where I'm kind of like, okay, why is I don't know. It almost seemed like it went on too long. Like okay, the first one I got, he went to go, avenge the dog. The dog was a representation of his wife. The last thing she gave him. I get that. The second one, you dip your toes into the abyss, and then the abyss looks back. I'm like, that kind of deal. The third one I even got, but then by the time I was getting to number 5, I'm just like, John, maybe you just need to either disappear or maybe let someone kill you, because like you're just, I don't like, to the point now where it's just like, this is just mass murder. You're getting all your friends killed, and you really don't have any justification or motivation to keep going aside from the fact that you don't want to die, which you end up dying anyways. And the spinoff Failed Ballerina, I thought it was better than what people said. I don't know how well the other spinoff's going to go. The Continental one wasn't well received. The one with Donnie Yen, or Donnie Lee, is Donnie Yen? That one, I hope will do good, but it is one of those things too where it's like John Wick is the franchise. So if you do John Wick without John Wick, it doesn't seem to be received as well. So that's kind of a problem that they have. So it's going to be interesting to see if the Donnie Yen one does any good. And it will be, because the Ballerina one, I don't think is going to get a sequel or anything along those lines. The Continental TV series is not getting picked up again. I heard there might be filming another John Wick, but they need to work on the storyline of that, whether it's going to be a prequel in between movies or it's going to be, well, hey, he didn't die, now he's back kind of deal. I'm not 100% sure. But I absolutely do love those. I can watch all of them over and over and over again. Even the last one where I thought maybe the storyline wise it got a little long in the tooth, I still enjoy it. I mean, I still watch it. I mean, the top down scene where he's taking the guys out using that dragon shotgun is just awesome. I love the assassin characters, the guy with the dog, the scout kind of tracker with the dog, the blind swordsman. Just really cool. We got to see Scott Adkins in a fat suit, still kick ass. Like Scott Adkins completely surprised me in that role as that kind of Russian guy with the suit and the big old tooth and everything. And because I'm a Scott Adkins fan, and he had a lot of fun with that part. So yeah, overall though, just one of the best action franchises probably ever made, and I absolutely love them.
You talked about the scene where Vigo was like, oh yeah, I heard you struck my son and whatnot. Well, when he's talking to his son, I love it. He says, we called him Baba Yaga. What, the boogeyman? Well, he wasn't exactly the boogeyman. He was the one you send to kill the fucking boogeyman.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are great films. Lapsed, what do you got at number 2?
Number 2, I have Star Trek. I think the movies are hit and miss. I probably like more of the movies than most people, but for original series to Next Generation to Deep Space Nine, I thought those were incredible. I even like a lot of Voyager. I actually do. Deep Space Nine probably being my favorite because it's just how ridiculous it gets. It just gets so crazy with Gul Dukat and his crazy Bajoran religion and the prophets and the fucking just God. But the Dominion War, I thought was incredible. Like Wei Yun and the Jem'Hadar. I thought the Jem'Hadar were one of the coolest characters brought into the show that actually they gave a real backstory to. Like they actually gave a backstory to these characters, and they were like basically hooked on drug. They were hooked on the Ketracel White, and how much they did to him, and just what can be taken from, and how much it differed from Gene Roddenberry's original take on it. He didn't even want people to argue in Star Trek. He didn't want people to show those type of emotions, because he wanted to show like this planetary, happiness together, like almost like paradise relations between different aliens and creatures and such. But I think Next Generation is probably one of the best written shows. Like Ronald D. Moore and a few of the other guys brag up, like they're great. Excuse me. And I think that's why some of the later shows suffered when they didn't keep that writing team in place. And I mean, I know Ron Moore, when he redid Battlestar Galactica, that got really, really popular, also ended really, really weird. But I think Star Trek as a model of consistency up until, because even the Scott Bakula series was, I thought, really good. Enterprise, I thought that got really good at first, because at first it was like they tried to make it different and like steamy and sexy. If you look at the first season, right? But then you look at season, like about halfway through season 2 to the end, it's a completely different show. It's a completely different show. And they went back to basics. Because, like they had like all these like ridiculous scenes like in the first season where you're just like, what the fuck am I watching? Like, why are you doing this? Like, I get it. Like, but you don't have to do that to draw the people in that like Star Trek. You know what I mean? Like there's a reason why they liked it, and I mean, you can look at the characters from A Next Generation and even the original, those are like iconic characters to where they were still getting work. Like, I don't know if any of you guys liked Babylon 5, but I thought Babylon 5 was amazing. I didn't care for the last season had that one decent storyline. But man, Babylon 5 was fucking amazing. And Chekhov played the guy, I can't remember his real name. What's his real name?
Walter Koenig.
Yeah. Dude, he played an amazing character in that show. So like they were able to show that they weren't, they might have been pigeonholed into that genre, but they could go outside of those characters. And obviously Patrick Stewart, I mean, come on, like the dude's incredible. Not only can he be a captain of a spacefaring Federation starship planet, but he can also be Scrooge. He can also play Captain Ahab.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, William Shatner went to space, man. So
William Shatner did go to space. And I also met William Shatner in a McDonald's in Erlanger, Kentucky.
Wow.
And that's why my handle is McShatley, because he apparently raised horses back in the early 2000s. You might still do it, but I didn't know that's what that place is famous for. I actually was there to meet up with a friend, Sergeant John Sterling. If you're out there, I miss you, buddy. But we went to McDonald's and he was hammered. When I'm talking like old Ted Kennedy hammered, like red nosed, just he was talking about, I could hear him out there. He's like, how about we make it a McShat? He was talking about they should have a meal called the McShat. And I was like, that's gold. So I just took it and just put the LY at the end of it. And that's why I've gone by that handle for, Jesus, like 30 years, 20 years, 25 years.
Wow.
And yeah, but Star Trek is great franchise, and I love it. And I've out of any TV show, even MASH and all the old shows that I watch, I've probably seen Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and the original series probably more than any other show that I've ever watched. Probably.
Yeah.
I'd probably say I'm a pretty big Trek fan. I don't get down with the whole dressing. I've never even did that, even with superheroes. You know what I mean? Like, I just never really got into the whole cosplay thing. And I've never gone to a con for Trek. But
But do you speak Klingon?
No, dude.
Okay.
I would look terrible in a
Yes.
Starfleet uniform. Just
I
not
don't know,
made for
Warren.
big guys.
You might look pretty good there. You know, I mean, but it's one of those things where it's like, it's I guess it's like a comfort thing. Like I own all the series. Like I own the Blu-rays for Next Generation. I own the originals because like what was cool with those, they always put something extra in the box sets. Because like before they had like full season or full series runs, they would have like the seasons, you know, and you'd have to buy like individual. So even those had like great special features on them, and like the original release of the DVDs for the Next Generation, each season came with a documentary about that season. And the 7th season for Star Trek, which had some out there episodes, dude, like the Masks episode with Masaka and all that shit, man. Whew, that shit's crazy. And okay, so your son says William Shatner still raises and shows one of the gated breds, I think Tennessee walking horses. Yeah, like I didn't even know like that he did that. I know it, like I said, it was in Erlanger, Kentucky that I saw him at, because it was on the border of that in Cincinnati, Ohio. And because that's where my buddy John Sterling lived, and I was going out to meet him and hang out with him. And it was cool because we ended up, after that incident happened at the McDonald's, he drove me by his ranch, and it was beautiful, man. It was amazing to look at. Like, it was huge. So that's Star Trek money. You know, it was, well, he probably made that off of his singing career. You remember that resurgence in like the early 2000s where he was like on Conan O'Brien with the dashiki and all that crazy garb on, singing, well, talking music. Man, he was awesome. Dude's fantastic. And the movie, I can't remember what movie it was called, but he was in a movie, Incubus, right? That they filmed it in like 3 different languages, and one of them was Esperanza, because they thought like Esperanza was going to be like the universal dialect at some time because it was spoke by so many people. You can look that up. I'm pretty sure that's a thing that happened.
Really?
But like, yeah, I've only seen the movie in English. But I think it was on like the DVD extra or something, because I was obsessed. You know, you get like obsessed with something. So like I had like a William Shatner thing where I had to see and all the stuff that he did, you know, because I didn't know at first like he was in that episode of Twilight Zone until I actually saw it. Like I knew about it, the meat, like
work,
you know,
man.
And I don't know. It's pretty damn.
It's
good.
on the wing.
But there's some really good stuff there. So yeah, I that's how I feel about Star Trek. I'm a huge Trek fan, like massive Trek fan. That could actually be number 1 probably for me. So, but
he's got it at number 2. So
I have it at number 2. My stomach feels like number 2 right now. I can tell you that.
Yeah. All right, man. So Star Trek for number 2 for you. For me, my number 2 is going to be the Rocky film franchise. I love the Rocky films. I think Stallone is great in these. His whole career, of course, got started because of the original Rocky. Just the inspirational story behind how he got that film made. That's actually going to be, and that's actually going to be a biopic later on this year.
I'm excited about that.
I think it's called I Play Rocky.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's going to be coming out later this year as well. But these films, you know, that's the real, or they're known for being an underdog story. And of course, you've got kind of the oddball, which is Rocky IV, which is more of an action film.
That movie's great.
But I still love it. That's actually my favorite of the franchise, even though you could argue that the other films are, well, except maybe 5, you could argue that the others are better. But I still love Rocky IV. But the series itself, I think, is fantastic. Again, Stallone gives a great performance. I think the supporting actors are all very good as well. Yes. It's just solid from start to finish for the most part, except for Rocky V. But even then, I think they rebound nicely with Rocky Balboa. And I thought well, I think it's a good rebound. Is it as good as
no? Good. No, it's a good movie. They just should not have used a real boxer. They
Yes,
should not
yeah,
have
I'll-
used
I'll
a
get-
real heavyweight at the time because it took me. I'm a huge boxing fan, and it just took. It just
Yeah,
made
no,
it made my. They should have had them in the audience. Like, holy shit, yeah, like, you know.
yeah,
But like that took me out of it. Not, I know you suspend your. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
one of those. It's a nitpick. Didn't make it
Yeah.
worse. Sorry, it did not make it worse.
no, you're good.
But I sorry to interrupt you, but you
No,
know
you're
the angry video game nerd? Does anybody
Yes,
watch
yes.
stuff? So you might know what I'm about to say then. He does stuff for his channel on Cinemassacre where he does these things because he's obviously huge into movies. He does these sightseeing tours. Well, he lives right outside of Philadelphia, and he has a film on his channel called Rocky Jumped a Park Bench, right? And you should watch it. It's awesome. It's
All right.
fantastic. He goes around to all the different spots, and I can't remember when it was filmed, but he goes all these different spots in Philadelphia where the film was filmed, like where they actually filmed scenes, and like he shows like the scene and then shows what it looks like now. He does all the stuff, and it's really cool because like how it starts off, he's like, you think we could be here for the Liberty Bell or the steps, but no, we're here because Rocky jumped a park bench. But it's a good like 27-minute thing. Go watch it. You guys will enjoy it if you like Rocky. Sorry,
I'll
sorry to
check it
interrupt.
out. No. I like I said, I think it's a solid franchise. I mean, how many franchises out there have you running the steps and you're jumping up and down and
Still to this day.
it makes you want to work out, you know, with those training montages and stuff. But they're inspirational stories at the end of the day, overcoming the odds, and it focuses on the human spirit and whatnot. So I think they're solid films. But the Rocky franchise is my number 2. And just a side note, Rocky Balboa is my all-time favorite film character. So,
Ooh.
so
How-
yeah.
Even
how
I like the Creed spin-offs too.
Yeah.
Like, the Creed ones were good also, I thought.
I like the first two. I like the
Yeah.
first two a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how many cities can like have like world championship sports teams? Literally have some of the biggest U.S. history in the world, but their biggest claim to fame is a statue of Rocky Balboa.
Yes.
Still run up the steps. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It really is. So yeah, it's I mean, it's got a place in film history for sure. And so yeah, that's my number 2. Now we're getting down to our top spot. Ray, why don't you start us off here with your number 1?
Yeah. So
Brown.
again, it's subjective, but yeah, Jackie Brown is my favorite franchise. No, man. You guys might know what it is. I got a feeling Laps might know, but yeah, there's one thing that I'm definitely too much of a stand for. Like I love everything in this franchise, even things that I know objectively aren't good. So I'm talking about the Alien film franchise. I absolutely love Alien. I absolutely love Aliens. It is my favorite. It is my favorite James Cameron movie as well. Then you get into Alien 3, where I understand why people don't like it, but man, I love that one.
I
there's
like
so
that
many,
movie.
There's so many amazing things going on with it. Not only do you have Charles Dance being Charles Danciest, but yeah, like there's certain things about that one that are great. There's horrible things about, like, you know, just unceremoniously killing off Hicks, Newt, and Bishop. But still, there's some amazing things going on in that particular one. Then you get to Alien Resurrection, and yeah, I completely get why people don't like it. But come on, she shoots a basketball behind her head from half court and makes
I
it.
like that one
she's
also.
she's amazing. There's real downsides to it. I think it's the weakest in the franchise, but there's some awesome stuff in here. It suffers that they tried to go ahead of the technology. They tried to show xenomorphs underwater swimming. That part really doesn't work. But at the same time, you get a dude who like leans backwards and shoots with 2-hand things with the taxi driver, whatever you want to call it, wrist gun mounts. It's great. There's so many things that shouldn't work in this, but kind of do in this weird way. Now I'm completely blanking on the director that he was a French dude who did that one. But yeah, I dig Resurrection. I understand why people don't like it, but huge place in my heart for it. And then you get back to the basics, I guess. where you're supposed to go back to the beginning, and we get Prometheus, which I understand why a lot of people don't like it. It doesn't directly connect to it, and then we get the Abomination that tries to kind of get that gap between the two. And I think it sucks. I really wish he could have leaned into what he was doing. Ridley Scott was he was onto something, and I wanted to see where he went with it. Sadly, the audience didn't really like that, so they kind of forced him to go a little bit more into the xenomorph thing. And then we get Alien Covenant. I don't know. I still love everything about that, but I would give those up for the next one, which is Alien Romulus. I absolutely love that. I understand why people don't. They think it's a lot of fan service. There's one line that I really wish they had taken out of it that really does not fit in there. But other than that, I don't know. They hit it just right for me. And then, yeah, we just got that weird FX show, Alien Earth. I like it. But again, I'm a stan of the franchise. I would not put it at the top of my rankings for everything. But yeah, I just love everything that they have done in this. I am skipping over a weird crossover that would then bring it to another franchise. I think those are different, and the bridge between them just doesn't exist as far as I'm concerned. So I'm just going with the Aliens franchise. And then from there, there's a million amazing books that all kind of went out. There's not only the novelizations of the movies, but they went into this whole extended universe that's just kind of amazing. That's just the books. Then they get into the comic books, and man, there's some amazing ones. And then they got into this Dark Horse series that was also pretty amazing. And it's just gone on and on and on to the point where, there's some very famous superheroes that have dealt with xenomorphs. It's really kind of gone everywhere in comics as well. And then video games, there's some really iconic ones. I remember the Game Boy one from way back in the day that was so infuriating, and there is no way to beat it. But yeah, getting all the way up to like Alien Isolation, I think that's like 2 or 3 ones ago. Man, it's amazing. There's a lot of what ifs and amazing things that could have happened. Like there was going to be a Neil Blomkamp one where we didn't get that, where he was going to work with Ridley Scott to kind of get a new version of it, and perhaps we were going to bring back some of the old favorite characters, but yeah, that didn't quite work out. There's alternate versions of Alien 3 that were supposed to be made. There's a bunch of scripts that you can find out there. One of them where they get to like this world just made of wood, and they've got to fight essentially in kind of like a primitive setting. They've got to fight these xenomorphs. That would have been amazing. There's other versions of it too. But yeah, I dig it all. It is the franchise that I've literally spent the most time on. I had this stupid little action figures when I was a kid. I still love them to the day.
Dude, those action figures were awesome.
Dude, Kenner did amazing on those things.
Yes.
And yeah, I still have a lot of the xenomorph ones.
The squishy head aliens were the best.
I wish they would have capitalized. Like, because I remember like when the movie comes out, they have all these toys, and it's like you get to see a rhinoceros alien, and you get to see all these different kinds of xenomorphs, but they never capitalize that in the movies. In the movies, it's always the same, kind of bipedal quadruped xenomorph, and they don't ever like, well, what happens if a xenomorph attached to like an elephant or a giraffe or so? Like, we don't get to see much variation. But then the toys, it was like, if you look at the toys, it's like, amazing. Wow, that's going to be an amazing movie, because they got a xenomorph gorilla, they got a xenomorph all sorts
of snake one.
Shit.
Well, we got to see it in the comic books. Which had some really, really cool, like they would loosely tie into the movies, right? But then they would expand on things that you didn't think that you wanted to see, which I thought was cool. Like the Bishop 6-part comic book, I thought was awesome. I still like it. I still think it's fucking badass. And you get to see that whole thing where you're just like, oh shit, like I didn't know, like they gave you stuff that you didn't know you wanted.
Right.
And I agree. I wish they would have done some of that in the movies, but I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that being someone's favorite franchise. I can't argue with that.
Solid.
They definitely tried, and there's not only all the the spin-offs that we know of, but man, there's been countless art books that are kind of based off of Geiger's designs for the xenomorphs initially. It is inspired so much. But speaking to Warren's point where we didn't get to see it as many animals, that was one of the reasons why I love Alien 3 so much. Depending on which cut, you either see that a dog gets infected with it or it's an ox. And either way, you get this quadrupedal one that runs a little differently. And then that's the only kind of stop motion animation that they used in that one. And it didn't work out as well as they wanted it to. Again, the technology wasn't quite there, but man, is it kind of an amazing one. I really dig that one, but
they were on the cusp though of trying new things as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like that's the other thing too. Like they were like, when you see that original, you know, when it opens the mouth and the other mouth, I mean, dude, how do you not like that? That was so iconic and so crazy because like I think that works for me more because like where people categorize it sometimes as a horror movie, I kind of categorize it as sci-fi suspense, right? Because we don't know what's out there. What if there is that? What if that is what's out there? Like, we don't know. There's something. There has to be something. You know, like it'd be kind of ridiculous if there wasn't. But I don't know. I think Alien works on so many levels, and I agree. That's a very good choice. It's a very, very good choice. I can't argue with it. Can't argue.
Plus, I almost feel bad for Aliens 3 because how do you follow aliens? Like that was like James Cameron flips the whole genre, like flips the whole franchise from what the first film was, and he makes such an amazing, like you said, arguably James Cameron's best movie, and it's such a hard feat to follow with that because you can't outdo him on it. So then you have to kind of go with, okay, let's go a different path with it. Maybe it would have been better if they just pushed Ripley off to the side and did another character and allow the story to kind of stretch out from there. But because killing Riggs and the girl Newt, that was kind of rough, and
Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of different scripts. Apparently, it came down to like money, where making the kind of prison planet was a little bit cheaper than going with like an entire world made of wood. And then there's other ones where the battle got much bigger. But there's a lot of what ifs.
That sucks.
Good choice, though. Good choice.
Yeah, it's a good choice. Yeah.
All right. Warren, what do you got at number one?
For me, number one is James Bond. I'm a huge James Bond fan. Now, I did get to see some of the original Sean Connery, and I saw some of
George
Roger Moore.
Lazenby.
But honestly, I was a huge Timothy Dalton fan. I love the Timothy Dalton movies. Those were my first real introduction to Bond. I liked Pierce Brosnan, and I thought Craig Daniels. Daniel Craig. I thought his knocked it out of the park. Casino Royale is, I still consider the best Bond movie overall. I thought Timothy Dalton should have got a much more credit. His movies weren't necessarily great. I understand that, but at the same time, though, I really liked him as Bond. And overall, it's just such a long-lasting. I'm excited to find out who's going to play the next Bond. I want to know how the series is going to go. It is such an interesting, long-lasting series, and I love Mission Impossible, but Bond is the spy series, and I really love how that one goes. And you can go in so many different directions with it, and try so many different things. And Roger Moore's stuff was a little bit more goofier, even though I think he played Bond more than anybody else.
Listen, not only was he in Octopussy, but he also diffuses a bomb as a clown.
He raked the moon.
You can't get any better than that.
Yeah,
my friend.
But yeah, I've been a big Bond fan, and it's one of those ones that even if you have a bad run, it's just we'll recast and start over again. And it's one of those endearing series that there's always going to be a Bond around, I think, even after we're all long gone.
The Lazenby one, what is it? Her Majesty's Service or something? What is it? Is that what it's called?
I think so. Yeah.
Service or
I think it's on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Okay,
I don't
it's something
know
Majesty's Service.
Yeah,
Something like
yeah.
that. It's something like that. Even that, like, it's not a horrible movie. It's just he just didn't fit.
Yeah.
You know, he was. I think he's Australian or something like that, and it just didn't feel the same. You know, as what we become accustomed to. So I don't know how it went over then. Obviously, he got taken off of that. So, like, you know, but I mean, I like Timothy Dalton as well, and I think, like I said, I think Pierce Brosnan fit the role as being cast in the 90s because of what he looked like, how he talked, you know. But man, if they could have made movies as good as GoldenEye, like, he would have had a great run, you know. But then it was kind of like what almost like with Mission Impossible 2, right? Where it went so over the top, and then you got, like, he's sitting in the back of a car remote controlling it, and like fucking it was more about the who's gonna be nobody cared about the fucking movie. Who's the next Bond girl? And it's like, is the fucking movie gonna be good? Like, but I was like so glad when Daniel Craig got announced. I was like, ooh, I don't know how this is gonna be, right? And then when Casino Royale came out, and you're like, oh shit, this could be fucking awesome. Like this, you know, Quantum of Solace, like, I still like it a lot. Like, dude, that car chase scene between the mountains is fucking brilliant. You know, like, and Spectre is I don't know, man. And what's the last one? Skyfall? Is Skyfall the one before Spectre? What's the last one? Spectre or Skyfall? I can't remember.
I think Spectre, because Skyfall was the one where
with what's his, with the face?
With the face guy.
Yeah, that one. Whew, that was amazing. That was, I thought, incredible. I love that one.
Well, it was one of those, like, I don't think any of the Bonds previously carried over the impact of the last film. Like, each sequel, like, we got a full like character arc with Daniel Craig, and the other ones were kind of like separate film adventures. But with Daniel Craig, it was like he was still dealing with what happened in Casino Royale,
right?
In the later films too, and it was you could see that progression on him. They connected them really well. With all the other Bonds, it was kind of like, well, this is what Bond's doing this movie, and then now the next movie's come along, and we're not even going to acknowledge what happened in that one previously, you know.
Yeah, Bond's one of those ones that it's like, it's hard to not like James Bond as a character. Like, there's just, because there's just so much you can do so much with it, because it's a spy. You just make up a spy story, and as long as, like, you keep it, you know, like, not as utterly ridiculous. Like, that's why I said with the Pierce Brosnan ones, just got so ridiculous, you know. And yeah, I mean, so many good video games respond off of that as well. Like I said, I'm playing First Light right now, which is really good.
Yeah,
it's really fun. So I'm hoping that Amazon does good by it, but they don't have a really good track record except for like Reacher.
Well, I think as strong as the Bond, like people who own the people that own the James Bond like IP, like the ones who like watch over it, they're very protective of it. I know that. So Amazon doesn't just get to do whatever they want with it, but at the same time, though, I understand.
I don't know about the movies, but they can make whatever series and stuff they want.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's very true.
They can do pretty much whatever. I think MGM still holds the movie. I'm not sure. You'd have to look it up. I'm not 100% sure.
I know that there is some kind of like council of people who have strong ownership
Bonds.
over the Bond movie franchise. But yeah.
I hope it's good, man. I really do. I hope it continues to be good.
All right, solid choice again. Let's see if you can bring us home with number ones, Lapsed. What do you got?
Well, I can't bring anybody home. I have the MCU as number one. Now, as of late, I don't really care for their movies. I really hope that Doomsday is awesome and Secret Wars is great. And then I hope they reboot, recast, or even not reboot, but just recast. Because like Secret Wars, if you go off of the Hickman Secret Wars, they kind of rebuild the Marvel Universe. Molecule Man goes off with Franklin Richards and Reed, and they kind of start rebirthing planets because the Beyonders and blah blah blah, all this stuff. But there's issues with the new stuff, right? But from up to Endgame and backwards, I mean, I can really only think of a few movies that I didn't enjoy. Now, there were weaker movies, but I still liked them. Like, Iron Man 2 is not as good as Iron Man, right? But I still enjoyed it. Like, I still thought it had good stuff to it, right? Iron Man 3, no. Thor: The Dark World, as much as I don't like the movie, it did bring the essence or whatever that stuff was called, which became one of the Infinity Stones.
Right.
So like that is an important movie, whether you like it or not. I thought they did a disservice to Malekith because I thought Malekith is one of Thor's coolest villains. And then then Captain Marvel, like it's just a meh, And I actually
Marbles,
I don't think it's actually, well, that's post Endgame. So
True.
but I don't even think it's actually what's her name's fault. I can't remember the actress's name.
Brie Larson.
Brie Larson. Because if you read a lot, like just go read Civil War 2, like with Carol Danvers. Like she kind of like was Carol Danvers. I mean, I'm sorry to break your hearts, people, but like the hate she gets is like, yeah, she might be a shit person, but like, we're talking about like the movies here. Like, so like who cares? You know what I mean? Like is the thing that to me, why the MCU succeeds so much, in my opinion, is look how many times they tried to make superhero movies, right? A lot of times where they didn't bring everything to the table. They might have got the character right. Like I like Batman from why can't I think right now?
Justice League.
No. The original, the Tim Burton movies. They got like that right, but like even then, like Gotham still to me wasn't as strong. Like the city wasn't as strong to me. It looked kind of neat, but like you didn't get the grand sweeping, skylines of Gotham, and like there was just some things about it that I don't care for, but I still love the movies. But you look at like Marvel movies, like that we got that 90s Captain America movie and that awesome Fantastic Four movie that was made for it's just garbage. And they never really brought things to the forefront. And hey, what's up, Orange? How you doing, man? Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. Hope everything's going good with you and the family. But this was like the first time that they got the characters right. They got the stories right. A lot of those things. And to build up to Thanos, I thought was really good. It was really well done. And, they brought like post-credit scenes where it was like, man, they really did a good job of keeping people sitting in the theater all the way till the end. Like, fuck, dude. How many times you sit in the theater to see the credits? Nobody did. They're just like, all right, lights are coming up. Let's leave. Bye. Hurry up. Let's get out of here. Shawarma. And it was like one of the first times that we saw all these characters come together in a movie. And, I don't know. I mean, I don't know of anything that tops that first 10 years. Whether it be financially, whether it be consistency or anything like that, and casting wise. Some of those characters, it's going to be hard to see someone else play them. I mean, they're having a hard time right now. That's why they had to bring them all back. So, you know what I mean? Like literally fucking Dr. Doom is Iron Man.
Yeah.
Like, come on, people. Every time you see him, you're just going to be like, why can't we just have him as Iron Man? And now like they've screwed it up so much with the variants and all that. Oh, he's just Iron Man. Like that's what he is, like that's why I say like sometimes like the Fantastic Four and the villains from there are so like they're so screwed Like they're like cursed. That movie is like a cursed franchise. Like look at all the Fantastic Four movies that are out. The newest one is probably one of the better ones, and that one wasn't even good in my opinion. You know, and it's like,
Jessica
God
Alba.
damn.
Come on, man. Fan Four Stick. Any of these. Harvey Korman.
Right.
No, you've got a huge point though, but man, that franchise was able to do so much, and just reputation alone. Like I don't know, Iron Man was a joke. Thor was a complete joke before, and I don't know. There was kind of a shame to like saying that you were into these characters.
Oh yeah,
and
Iron Man was a C.
Man.
People are like, oh, he was B or A. No, he had a cartoon. He was a C-list fucking character. The only thing, there's like 2 storylines that people can name, and that's Demon in a Bottle, right? Which was like 2 issues, and Extremis, and it's like, I'm like, well, what about Armor Wars? Remember that thing? Remember? Yeah, that happened. You know, they just reprinted the omnibus, but like, he wasn't a major character. The Avengers comic came together because those singular characters were not selling books, and they wanted a team like the Justice League, so they threw a bunch of these characters together and it started selling. So it's like, you know, yeah, they were able to do something with those characters. Now I don't like what it spawned from there. The fact that, you know, people think they can just take any random C-list character and make a great movie out of it. And it's like, sometimes there's a reason why those characters are that. And unless you have the right casting and be able to tell the story that you want to tell, you know, there's a reason why that superheroes bring the fans that it brings to them. Like comic books, there's a reason why. If you don't tell those stories the way that the comics are written, it's very hard to reach those fans. When you reach, you know, the casual audience, you just need like action and to be entertained. But when you're trying to take characters that have a very long established history, you know, and you go against it, it just doesn't work. Because it you know, and that's the problem that they're having right now. Their characters are going against what was already established, you know. And it's like, you look at the end of the one movie with what was that, the one that had the Century in it? What was that called?
The Thunderbolts.
And you look at how they were introduced, and they were like, Elaine Bennis is like, it's the new Avengers, and you're like, what? Wait, what?
I mean,
what?
Elaine's awesome though. So
That's it?
I don't know. That's about it.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, it's one of those things like that first 10 years, even after everything that's happened after Endgame, I still hope that they pull it out. I still hope that after Secret Wars, when they're supposed to do one timeline reboot where they can recast, I hope that they get back on track. Like even Star Wars, we mentioned with Star Wars, like there's only a handful of actually critically good things that they've done movie-wise, and it's like, I really hope that they figure it out. I want them to, because there's so much potential, and I love the franchise and the IP so much. You know, like Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, the Guardians of the Galaxy. There's so much good shit there, and I want them to pull it out, and I want them to do good with it, even though they're doing really terrible right now, and they've really lost the faith of their fan base. I mean, it used to be just slapping Marvel on the movie meant it was going to be close to $1 billion, if not $1 billion. Right. Now you have films that are critically and fan liked movies that can't clear 500 million, you know, and some of them have a budget that explodes up to like 400 million, and even the fans are kind of like, well, yeah, it's not like Thunderbolts was well received amongst fans. Fantastic Four was generally well received amongst fans, but they didn't do the numbers because there's just no faith in the product. They had to bring back all of the old stars in order to hopefully nostalgia bait people in with Doomsday. And if they don't pull that off, you know, it could end up just harming the franchise even more. I mean, Mandalorian Grogu could have been an amazing movie, and it's still, though, I question how well is it going to do because just of the lack of faith people have in the IPs now because of how much damage that has been done. But I still hold out hope that they pull it out, because I'll be right, like you said earlier, I'm going to be there to watch Doomsday. I'm going to watch Secret Wars. I'm going to watch the next Star Wars trilogy when it comes out. I'm going to be right there eating popcorn, watching it, hoping that it's good, I mean.
Yeah, if they're smart, they'll do Secret Wars and they'll just curve to the X-Men. If they're smart.
Supposedly, it's supposed to be like that, where it's Secret Wars.
That's what I
one timeline reboot, X-Men focused. That's what I've been hearing. But do they pull it off? I don't know.
Who knows if they pull it off anymore? The people they have in place, like really,
supposedly Jean Grey's supposed to be in the Spider-Man movie.
We'll see.
Well, we'll see.
But they haven't confirmed her casting yet. So,
and that's a thing that comes out soon.
Yeah,
that comes out what, like July?
Yeah, the end of July.
Yeah, and it's like that's our only lead. We have lead up to like one extra credit scene of a hand on a face and Spider-Man, and that's even if that leads into that.
Yeah,
that's it.
True, but X-Men 97 season 2 out real soon.
Yeah.
So,
but is that gonna that? But I'm saying, like, I'm talking about Doomsday.
Yeah, there's no build up. They don't have any build up. They don't have any prep. Like when Infinity War hit, we had 10 years, well, whatever years of Infinity War of prep for this moment. Now they're going into what's supposed to be the linchpin big event, and essentially it's like, well, this is a direct sequel to Endgame, and we're not going to pay attention to all of the garbage that we put out between them there, and there's going to be no setup. And make sure you watch Loki, and when we relaunch Endgame, like in October or some shit, like rewatch that, and we're gonna have an extra scene that helps set up Doomsday. Like I think they filmed like either a post credit or some extra scenes for Endgame, and they're gonna relaunch it. I think a couple months before Doomsday.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like like an end scene or like right after the big fight. There's supposed to be like a rumbling or something.
So then we're supposed to
on the timeline of blabbity blue, flippity flap. Nobody gives a shit.
But there's no build up, and you're talking about a possibly $2 billion budgeted movie. You better hope that it re-energizes the fan base and gets everyone excited again. Because if not, it's going to be a disaster for them.
We'll see.
Yeah, but besides all that, no. But like the first 10 years, I enjoyed thoroughly. I really did. Even like I said, the bad movies, I could still go back and watch on like a rewatch. It's just like, I'm just like, I don't like this one nearly as much.
They're still fun though.
They're still fun. And like it really started going downhill when they did the shows. The shows were like, when I watched WandaVision, and it's like, the first episode, you're kind of like, oh,
WandaVision and Agatha are amazing.
WandaVision sucked, dude.
I like WandaVision. I'm on Team Grey.
Pearl before Swan.
I thought the first couple episodes were cool, and then like, dude, just the Monica Rambeau scene. They'll never know what you sacrificed for them.
Yeah,
you held a whole fucking town hostage. Against their will,
but she wiped their memory. They'll never know, dude.
They didn't. They remember. They remembered. And Agatha, you remember? They're like, it's like, is it happening again? Oh God, no!
So
it's
good.
Like you saved them from the danger you put them in. Good job.
Yeah, you caused all of it.
Just wait until Mayo Vision. It's all going to come together.
It's going to be low.
Mayo Vision
sucked.
All righty.
Sucked.
So MCU first 10 years for last.
Yeah.
All right. For me, my number one is going to be the Back to the Future franchise.
Oh, hell yeah.
Nice
Back to the Future
choice.
is my all-time favorite movie. I think that is one of those that you could argue is a perfect movie. I know there's a couple little things here and there that because scenes were cut, but I think it's one of those that you can argue is that it's a perfect movie, and if it's not, it's a near perfect movie because the way the setup and the payoff is done for it, I think it's very well done. The trilogy itself isn't a perfect trilogy, but I think it's a fun trilogy from start to finish. The characters are awesome. Marty is. I mean, he's the main character, but he's really hardly ever the one that the story really revolves around. It's usually around something he's trying to have to fix. Like even the first one, you know, the core of the story to me really isn't him going back in time. It's the fact that he screwed up his parents' meeting and he's got to get them to fall in love. That's the core of the story, getting his parents to fall in love. And so I think it's I think it's an awesome film. The franchise again itself is a lot of fun, and so for me, that's my favorite film franchise. Now, I wouldn't argue that it's the best franchise by any means, but it is darn sure my favorite film franchise.
I'm surprised they haven't tried to reboot it. To be honest with you,
well, that's one they better not try to reboot. Leave that alone.
So you don't want Tom Holland as Marty McFly?
Oh, God, no. Leave that one alone. I think it's perfect the way that it is. And also Thomas F. Wilson as all the different versions of Biff. He is great. That's another one who's my all-time favorite villain because he's the high school bully, but he's also, you know, a casino owner who's drunk with power. He is a cranky old man. He's an old, you know, an outlaw from the Old West. I mean, all the different characters that he plays within that family and different versions of Tannen, I think are fantastic. So yes, the Back to the Future franchise is my favorite.
Yeah, I just the third movie, man, like I don't want to see a Christopher Lloyd love story. I just don't ever want to think of that man having sex with a woman ever.
I still, but I think it's great. Even the third one, which I understand why. Which I understand why it's not people's favorite.
That whole
but I still think it's fun. Is the thing? Yeah, you know. Again, Buford Tannen. What are you, yellow? You know.
Yeah. There's so many quotable and iconic scenes. Man, I can't. Anytime anyone asks like who's on the phone, I want to say your cousin Marvin Berry. There's so many amazing lines from it. The picture that's slowly dissolving.
Yes.
Like, how many times have you seen that in pop culture?
It's
like
weird just, though that his brother and sister disappear first, and then like what they like the more they don't meet is the less they have sex. Only that one time. But you would have been
might meet later.
They would have skipped 2 kids.
So yeah, I think that's great.
Rock and roll.
And then, you know, and like in the original story, the fact that his father, you know, gets the confidence to become who he ends up becoming, you know, all because of a lot of the advice, and he finally stands up to the bully. But you also see Marty getting the confidence to become who he wants to be by having the confidence to actually step up and play in front of an audience, because he's earlier in the film, he's listening to his father's advice saying, well, what if they say I'm no good? I can't send in this tape because what if they just say, get out of here, kid, you don't have a future. But then, you know, he's given his father the advice that Doc Brown gives him, and he ends up kind of living by that own advice himself later in the film as well. So again, there's a lot of good setup, a lot of good payoff in the film, and that's partly why I say it's a near perfect film. So, yeah.
I mean, it arguably makes
would bang his mom too if she looked like what's her name.
It would be, and it also makes what arguably is one of the worst designed cars ever iconic. Like,
yeah,
DeLorean is ugly as shit, but I love DeLoreans because of that movie.
Yeah, everybody wanted a DeLorean just because of that.
Yeah,
finding out that they were like a cheap generic car was very interesting later on for the time, and then they just skyrocketed in price.
But yeah, it's great. the scene where he finally stands up to Biff, I think is iconic as well when he knocks him out. And I just love everybody's expression when they see him walking off with Lorraine, and they're like, "Who is that?" Well, that's George McFly. They're all shocked, everybody who saw it. So yeah, I mean, it's a great film, and again, it's a fun trilogy all the way throughout. Not a perfect trilogy, but I would argue that the first film is a near perfect film.
All right. Well, that was fun, man. That was, I think, a lot of fun doing this because
absolutely
so many different. I think we only had like 2 repeats: Star Trek.
Yeah, I'm looking at the list right now.
Me and John Wick.
And
John Wick, James Bond, and Star Trek were the ones
it
that
was only me and Warren. Yeah.
Great minds think alike, Labs.
Yeah, we had a lot of differences. I was expecting there to be more overlap than what there was.
There were some I wanted to put on the list, but like I thought was interesting. Like when you mentioned it, Gray, with Aliens. Critically, 1 and 2, great. The rest of them, and I was like that also with Terminator. Like I love the first 2 Terminator movies. I love the idea, the IP, but they just keep having all these misses, and it's like it's an IP that people will still keep trying to do because everyone loves the idea of it, but no one seems to be able to pull it off as well as those first 2. And it happens with Aliens. It also happens with Predator. Even though I think Badlands was pretty good, Prey was decent. It's showing a little bit of growth, but those first 2, and then since then, it's like these franchises that everyone loves, but they just cannot seem to nail it down and get that magic back.
You mentioned Terminator. Terminator is a good example where Salvation, I think, was actually kind of an interesting idea in that they were going to do it in the future. But what the story should have been was kind of the beginning of Genesis, where it was actually the lead up to him sending Kyle off to
they should have been like the Planet of the Apes movies, like the 5 of them. It's like where Salvation should have showed you how to get to the point where Hicks goes back, and then maybe show what happens in the next movie after Hicks goes back along those lines. They could have done something along like that. Terminator 3 just really kind of missed the mark. But Salvation, I thought, was decent. I even liked Genesis.
Terminator 3 had that awesome chase scene, though, man.
Yeah, true.
That was crazy.
I didn't like Dark Fate. I thought Dark Fate was essentially kind of like the Force Awakens of the Terminator franchise. It was essentially just rewriting Terminator 2 with different people. But yeah, Salvation I thought was an interesting one, and I thought Genesis was a decent attempt. But since Terminator 2, the only really great thing that Terminator had was that anime they did for Netflix. That one was really well done. Yeah. But that introduced to multiverse. That got away from the whole circle theory of time and went into the multiverse era, which was kind of interesting. I always liked the circle of time fate aspect of Terminator, though. It's like no matter what we do,
right? Because Skynet works that way. It doesn't work whenever there's multiple timelines where you could have one, because theoretically you can't have it where it always works. You can't. You can't. There has to be that one specific time where it doesn't, where the cyclical, however you say the word, like that works, because that always happens. It always ends up happening. And trying to stop it, trying to stop it is the thing. It is the big rock in the stream that makes 2 separate channels. So
plus it introduced a lot of us to the threat that is AI.
That's true. That's true.
More of these AI tech bros need to watch Terminator. I think. I don't think
RoboCop first Terminator is the best timeline.
It's a great crossover. That SNES game was amazing.
The comic was good too.
Yeah. So to a much lesser extent than the Terminator things, the Blade trilogy or franchise, if you want to call it that. I don't know. I really dig the first one, and then Guillermo del Toro takes over the second one. it's pretty awesome. And then you get 3 where like
Ugh.
Wesley
Ugh.
Snipes won't even like open his eyes. They need to CGI him open.
Yeah.
Triple H is in that with a dog.
Yeah.
Why?
It later became like a TV series with that other actor dude that I can't remember his name. But yeah, they just have not been able to bring him back other than like one post-credit scene. You get Mahershala Ali's voice. But yeah, I want that franchise to go on, and it seems like they just won't. But yeah, comics, man.
Yep.
One that would have made my honorable mentions, of course, would have been the Harry Potter franchise. We've already talked about some of the others that would have made my list, but the Harry Potter franchise, and another one is the Lethal Weapon franchise.
Oh,
nice.
What
I like
about
the
Loaded
yeah,
Weapon
that's another
franchise?
good one.
You don't think it was the bullets?
Yeah, but I love the Lethal Weapon franchise. Riggs and Murtaugh, they're great.
I almost put How to Train Your Dragon franchise too. I really enjoy those films. Even the live action one I liked. But yeah, Lethal Weapon. Oh, damn.
Loaded Weapon. It's not lethal, it's loaded.
She'd uncovered a drug running operation. I think that's what got her killed.
You don't think it was the bullets?
Bullets.
Scene.
Oh, that's so great.
It was bullets.
You don't think it was a bullet?
And then, of course,
I wish that one was a franchise.
And then we talked about him earlier. William Shatner, he's the villain in that.
That's like as good as like with Spy Hard, where freaking Andy Griffith is the best. You're just like, what is happening here? Dude, I thought a fun show for us to do would be like your favorite like TV or movie themes.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
That would be fun. You
Yeah,
know?
that's definitely one we got to put on the docket.
Like, because next, like, so like you've seen at the beginning of and the end of the streams, you see the schedule. So next week we'll come up with the next 4 weeks, and you'll see that at the end of 2 weeks from now. On the 12th, you'll see the next lineup for the next 4 episodes after that. Because we got next week, we have on June 5th, we have the top 5 box office failures that we like. And then on the 12th, we have the top 5 remakes, which should be both very fun.
Yeah, those will be fun. All right. You guys got anything else to add to
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. We just had a
What you
big
got?
giant thing happen here. Orange Avengers.
Oh,
That's amazing, man.
Awesome.
Oh,
That
hell
is
yeah.
incredible.
congrats on that.
That is fantastic. That's such a cool time.
Yes, it is.
That is such a cool time. Like I always said to like my my wife and a few of my friends, because I have 4 children. They were like, "What's your like favorite time?" Even though I did, like, I didn't like handling them when they were so small. I always like would thought but around the 6 month to like 1 year where they get sturdy, like you can actually move them around, and that's like some of the most fun times from like 6 months to like 2 years, man. Like I have some videos of David when he was like, every morning I would walk in his crib and he would just be smiling like, yeah, I'm ready for the world. Oh man, it's great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah.
But anyway, you guys got anything else on the film franchises?
No, I thought this
All
was a very successful, fun show.
Sounds good. Let's go around the room here and find out what everybody's up to. Gray, what do you got going on?
New show with Lapsed coming soon. We're hammering out the details behind the scenes, but other than that, come back here next Friday and you'll find out my favorite box office bombs, if you will.
All right. Warren, what about you?
Oh, well, let's see here. Where do I begin? We're going to be filming part 2 of the off-the-shelf review of the Adventures of Sig and Joe with me and Laps, and I think Gray's going to be joining us. We did part 1, which was just kind of like my process of how I came to create it, and then we're going to be filming part 2, which we're going to go into issue 1. when I'm not doing that, I'll be doing live streams of my House Squirrel Safe Longview comic book, where I'm creating the entire comic book online for people to watch and be a part of. You can talk in the comments. I ask the commenters, because I have a pretty decent chat going, what do you guys think of this sequence? What do you guys think of that? I even asked them, if they want to be part of lets them be part of the journey. And I've been doing some 6-hour, 4-hour streams. And so far, I have all 41 pages of issue 1 laid out. And then I have 31 or 32 of those penciled and ready for ink. So that is going along quite nicely. On Monday, I am going to be on the Art Brothers art show, which is on my channel with Melvin Cruz, who is the writer, artist, and creator of The Dead, the Grim Reaper on Global Comics. We're going to be doing, we do artwork based on themes. And this Monday, we're going to be doing Darksiders meets Battle Chasers, which are both Joe Mad series, are character creations. And I'm kind of nervous for that one because I consider Joe Mad, he's like an icon to me. So I'm drawing like my favorite artist's characters. So it's kind of nerve wracking. And then on Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll be back to doing more squirrel stuff. And then Friday, I will be here, and I believe I'm the one hosting the box office flops that we like. I already have my number 1 picked, and I'm excited for that show because that one should be a lot of fun.
All right, Lapsed, what do you got going on?
So I might stream some of the Bond First Light game just to do it because I've been having a lot of fun with it. So next week I will be doing a review for Rook Exodus number 10, which I'm very excited for. And then me and Warren are gonna, I don't know if it'll be this week or next week. I'm not positive because I have to find out tomorrow whether I'm working this weekend. I am not sure. If we do, it'll be recorded. At least it'll be recorded. Not sure if it'll be edited, but it'll be out. And you can actually, if you go into the description for this video, you can read The Adventures of Sig and Joe. I've been putting the Global Comics link into all of our videos. So guys, go out and read it. Go support it. Go comment on it. It's free, and if you guys want to join us whenever we do shows for that, you'll be able to comment and go back to the original video and comment questions that you have for Warren or anything you want to know about his process, because the last video we do after we review this will be like final thoughts and like what he's doing next and like all that type of stuff in the process of creating a book from scratch, from idea to paper. And I have a new Bat Bits that's going to be out, and I'm working on a history of X-Men video, and just a couple other things. And then we'll be doing this next week. Me and Gray are working on getting a show together for Tuesday. Not sure what we'll be doing with that, but I know it'll be still in the comedy genre. We'll be doing, more of that stuff. Kind of what we were doing beforehand, I think, but not the same. Not the same. We're not going to be just doing stand-up comedians. Like me and him had a show before that where we were just talking about comedy in general. I think we're going to get more back to that, but we still have to hammer out the details. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. And other than that, man, I'm probably going to go and play some Arc Raiders tonight if anybody wants to play. Gray, you want to play? Anybody want to play? Huh?
Hell yeah. Let's do this. Let's raid some Arc.
All right.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, I'm going to just play some games. I think me and Warren will be streaming possibly Monday or Tuesday whenever he gets time. We're going to be playing Dragonkin. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Nice. I am super excited about playing that, but we'll be doing that in our spare time whenever we have some time, maybe in like couple hour chunks here and there. So it might be at weird times of the day. It might be at very weird. You never know. I might have to take a break from work and work late because if he has Art Brothers or if he has his Squirrel Book streams, we might have to do it during the day or something like that. But yeah, there'll be a bunch of stuff going on this channel and the Lapsed Comic Fan channel. So,
all right.
Yay!
Over on my channel, put out a review of The Mandalorian and Grogu. We also talked about it on Dad's Turn to Talk this week. So go check those out. Next week, Dad's Turn to Talk is actually going to be on Wednesday instead of on Tuesday because the guest that we have isn't available on Tuesdays. It's the only day she can join us.
MSK.
So we're going to, what's that? MSK? No. We're going to have
Nobody would do
her
a show for him.
Anyway, we're going to have a friend of our show on. She's been on before, but she just can no longer meet on Tuesdays. So we wanted to accommodate her. We're going to be watching the film Hoosiers. So,
hell yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We'll be talking about that one this week. She's a big basketball fan. So that's why we decided to do Hoosiers and kind of lean into that a little bit. So we'll have some fun there. As far as next week, what I'll have for reviews coming out, you've got both Masters of the Universe and Scary Movie 6 coming out. So I'm not sure which of the two I'm going to do because usually I only have time to do one of them. I probably will do Scary Movie 6 because I know the following week we'll probably end up talking a little bit of Masters of the Universe. So on Dad's Turn to Talk. So I'll probably do Scary Movie 6. But anyway, that's what I got coming up. Of course, the last panel next Friday and the MSK on Monday. But anyway, so yeah, we want to thank everyone for joining us tonight who got into the chat. We love reading your comments, and it was a pleasure hanging out with you guys tonight. I hope each of you have a safe weekend and look forward to seeing you guys next week. You guys have a good night.
Good night.